Coming at you live from KG5 Football Park, the home of football in Tasmania, for one of the biggest days on the footballing calendar in this great state. It's the Lacca Seljet Cup Grand Final between Kingborough Lions and South Hobart Football Club. Of course, more riding on than just the precious piece of silverware that is the Lacca Seljet Cup. There's also entry into the round of 32 of the FFA Cup riding on today's encounter. I'm Damien Gill from FFT, bringing this one live to you. And I've got a couple of very, very good commentary forces in Callum Pask and Andrew Cooling by my side to help you through what should be a very enthralling encounter. Gents, first of all, Pasky, how are you, mate?
Yeah, really good, Gilly. Lovely to be here alongside you and Drury, of course. Nice of you blokes to take me under your wing and just allow me to sit in on what should be a fascinating clash. I woke up this morning, had butterflies in the stomach. All roads lead to KG5, as they say, today in what is Cup football at its finest. And added in today, that extra element of 110 km/h winds just roaring across the pitch here at KG5. We're quite well protected from it by the grandstands, but it's going to add an extra element into today's clash that should be absolutely brilliant. Drewy, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, you mentioned the wind. It's going to be a big factor. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We may be well protected up here, but on the pitch, it is just going to blow straight across down the ground to the what's not the KG5 house end. What's that end?
We call it the Grove Road.
The Grove Road end. It's blowing a gale in that direction, slightly diagonally across. I think we're going to see a lot of the game bogged down in that corner. We saw it in the women's game earlier. It was a huge factor. There's no doubt it is going to be a big impact on the contest. And great to have you back, Pasky, after a bit of an extended layoff. Back in the box here with us for what should be a cracking clash. I know we're all very excited about this one, and I'll tell you who else is excited. Half of bloody Kingborough's rocked up and sitting in the stands here. They are out in force today.
Yeah, a few chance sheets been handed out, Drew. We've seen that. They've tried to get a few started already. Hopefully they'll be in full voice as the match commences. Of course, you were at South Hobart, Darcy Street, to see these two teams in action in recent weeks in the Victory League. A really tight tussle. South Hobart just getting over the line 3-2, but it didn't look that way for much of the game, did it?
They were second best for a lot. The big turning point, of course, was Jack Turner's send-off. Red card there really changed the entire complexion of that game, and South Hobart were able to just get over them. But they showed that day, Kingborough, they may come in as underdogs today, but they're more than capable of matching it with South Hobart, and they will take it right up to them. I'd expect nothing less than a really pulsating clash here today, because they're going to give as good as they get. They've got some brilliant attacking players in Vidal and Watkins. And South Hobart, I think we're $1.70 with the bookies. I just don't agree with that assessment. I think they're going to be right in this game, up to their necks in this one, Kingborough.
Interesting that you mentioned Jack Turner and the red card. Of course, the wily old media fox Walter Pless in yesterday's press conference just tossed a little hand grenade into Ken Morton's lap and said, have you approached Jack Turner at all this season? And clearly he was a little bit perturbed by that question. No doubt that he has had discussions about Jack Turner and to Jack Turner, and he will be an important player in today's match. Gilly, to take us through the lineups?
Yeah, we'll get straight on the lineups, Pasky. Onto the Kingborough Lions. Andrew Duncan in goal, the big Dunkaroo. They rested him on Saturday. He's an interesting customer. Sometimes he is just on fire and he's hard to stop. Other times he can give away some cheap goals. They'll need him on fire today in the net for the Lions. The defensive post for Kingborough Lions, Galante, the right fullback. He's Italian-born Englishman, plenty of flair, can provide a lot of pace down the flank in attacking areas, and he should provide plenty today for the Lions. Of course, their central defensive pairing of Adam the Hedgehog Hedge alongside Nick Stork-Cuthbertson. A lot of height in that pairing, maybe not a lot of pace, so maybe that's somewhere where South Hobart can get on top. Also on the other flank, you'll see Damien Pearce, who in recent times has bobbed up with a few goals, so he looms large from the set piece, something I think Kingborough will look for when they're delivering long and strong. The midfield, Kieran Dale, the Englishman, he's got better as the years progressed. Also got in there Dean Watkins and Jack Turner, who we touched on before. Jack Turner is just a raging bull. When he's on fire, Kingborough on fire. He's a real barometer for their side. Then you've got Dean Watkins, who has pace to burn and just swagger, and he can bring something to this contest that very few players can out on that pitch. Onto their attackers, you've got Lewis Vidal, another X-Factor player for the Lions. Billy Gasparinatos, of course, a former South Hobart player, big presence, big hold up forward. They'll be looking for him to do a serious job today up against South Hobart. They've blooded him at the right time just before the Cup, and he's found some form, so that's good to see. And Danny Cohen, who's been playing out wide and playing really well. I think they've got a pretty menacing attacking pack, do Kingborough Lions, and plenty in reserve. As we'll get on to the South Hobart lineup. Drewster, maybe you can take us through this one.
Righto, in goals, Kane Pearce, ever reliable shot stopper there. Number 13, Alex Lazinski, making his first start in a long time. He's been eased back into this team. He's had a few 30-minute stints off the bench. He's got the start today, so his physicality will be a big factor up top, although Kingborough do have two very good, strong central defenders who might be able to marshal him. Moving on to Connor Schmidt, the young fullback, appears to have got the nod over Quayle as the other fullback. Matthew Lewis will be the other one. Joey Stevens isn't starting. That one's not quite correct. We've got... Hang on, we'll go to the different team sheet here. We've got the wrecking ball, Christopher Hunt. He'll play on one wing, no doubt. Very important player up top. We'll go through the back four first, actually. Dogger Brown has passed a late fitness test to play. That's big news. On the weekend, it was Lewis and Oscar Thomas. He's retained his spot in the lineup and will slide in alongside Dogger Brown. That'll be interesting. I don't know if those two would have played together at all. It was Thomas and Lewis on the weekend for large parts against Olympia. So you'll have Lewis and Schmidt as the fullbacks. In midfield, we're going to have Christopher Downs, number 17. Struggled at times on the weekend, but he's a good player, but there's perhaps a lack of a defensive midfielder, if anything, in this lineup. Of course, Kobe Kemp starting. Last time these two played, scored one of the goals of the season. Just a cracking strike from him. He'll play in there. Braden Mann, of course, will lead the line with Lazinski up top. And the final player who was the best to field on the weekend, Darcy Hall, number 7, was downright electrifying. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. On the bench, they've got Alfred Hess. He's had a rare start on the weekend. Mark Loncourt, the backup goalie. Liam Quayle, overlooked for Schmidt, perhaps somewhat surprising. And then cool, calm, collected Joey Stevens, Damo's favourite, and number 6, Hugh Undy, who I think is probably the most likely to come off the bench for South Hobart.
Interesting to note, Hugh Ludford, of course, missing. We've got Matt Lewis, who will probably go back to right back after playing central defence on the weekend. Very tall pairing in Oscar Thomas and Dan Brown. Oscar Thomas is quite measured on the ball and uses it well out of defence. He might have to be the playmaker with Brown, who's not known for his, disposal out of defensive areas. It's more the no-nonsense approach. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And Lewis, I know for a fact, had a bit of a niggle off the back of Saturday's game, had a swollen ankle. He's obviously got up for the contest, but that might be one to watch as it progresses early. Also, as you said, Drewster, the midfield is an area where there's a bit of uncertainty for South Hobart. Chrissy Downs, he only just came back in the lineup on the weekend. I think that's somewhere where Kingborough can definitely get on top today.
Yeah, good shouts all round there, Gilly. I think the game breakers for me, there's no doubt Jack Turner in the middle is pivotal to Kingborough's success. And then Watkins up front. We've spoken about that central defensive pairing between Brown and young Thomas in the middle of the back line for South Hobart. I think if Watkins can get at those two and just trouble them for pace, I think that'll set lines on the right lines. Of course, for South Hobart, no more important, I think, than Lazinski up top for them. It's going to be important that they are able to maintain possession in that final third, and a lot will come down to him. We're about to get underway. Drewy, how do you see this one playing out? A tip from you.
Well, before we start here, I'm going to go 2-1 South Hobart, which is very much against the crowd here, who's stuck in the middle of a lot of Kingborough fans, and they're making a lot of noise.
The Kingborough Lions have sucked me in. I'm roaring with the pride. I'm going 3-2, the Lions.
I'm going a real tight, scratchy affair, but tipping against South, just to see, make it interesting. Lions 1-0.
And we're underway. Kick-off comes to Turner. He sweeps forward, stolen by Hunt. Shivers down my spine, Callum Paskett. It is quite the atmosphere here. The Lions, credit to them, as Lazinski threats for an early opportunity, comes to Hall. He fires, it's blocked well by Duncan. Comes out, it's with Vidal. He can build slowly, finds Galante with his back to Lazinski, squeezes a ball out. It's an attempted flick on there by Gasparinatos, and it's out.
Just would have been nice to see Hall take that first time on his left boot, tried to come inside and curl it with the right, and perhaps just the chance goes begging because of that.
Got to say, mad props to our cameraman extraordinaire, Ash Wilkes. The scoreboard looking great.
Just
Little
running a very
FFA Cup
exciting
in the
ship here is
corner.
Ash.
Jeez. You do some wonderful work, Ash. Keep it up. You've got 90 minutes ahead of you. As the big Dunkaroo steadies to take the goal kick. Out into the bullseye, they contest. It's won by Kemp. Down for Lazinski, he nudges forward. It's Mann who gets onto it, but Galante cuts off. Sells Duncan into a little bit of trouble, but he's up to the task. Just to scurry it clear, but South Hobart look on early here.
Yeah, pressing hard, and this could be a feature of the game. We saw it against Olympia on the weekend. They were keen to press, not give them time on the ball. If there's one knock on the Kingborough defence, not really ball players either of their centre halves. So I think Jack Turner's going to be the man who's going to have to drop back, receive the ball deep and start the play. Because I wouldn't be expecting either Hedge or the big Storm Cuthbertson really to be dictating too much play from the back. So Turner's got a lot to do. He's going to have to really get back and work hard as well as snuff out these attacks.
As Oscar Thomas tries to play down the left channel and Lewis tries to flick on and it's out of play for a throw-in. Galante in for Hedge, the big hedgehog slice. Sells him into trouble, does enough to see it in for a moment until Galante tips it out and the chance get going again. It looks like a back three at the moment for South Hobart. Lewis operating up a little bit further. See how that one develops as the throwing comes in. It's cut off by Watkins. He delivers out in front of Pearce and says, run boy. Takes it, got Hunt providing chase, threads through, comes from Turner, he nips on. Him and Cohen on different wavelengths and it's cut off by Pearce and he'll have his first involvement.
Yeah, see Kingborough quickly breaking there, weren't they, Pasky? That might be the game plan for them today. They've got those fast wingers. You expect, especially in the first half with the win, South Hobart probably going to control possession. They'll have the play in the first half. They need to capitalise. They need to go into half-time ahead because this win is definitely an advantage.
It's been a good start for South Hobart early on. A lot more of the possession and playing it forward through Lazinski and Hall down the left. Of course, we expect to see the ball over on that far side a lot in both halves, given the wind is pushing the ball that way. I think we won't see a lot played over this side on the commentary box side. But it'll be very, very interesting to see whether they can get crosses in from that left-hand side. It's going to hang up in the wind, and it'll be important for them to try to come back through the middle and open up this game as South Hobart go forward, but well cleared by Hedge. Cohen on the ball now. Great challenge from Schmidt. It's only as far as the hedgehog himself again. He goes long. Brown collides in the middle, and South Hobart come forward again. Hall on now. Hedge there to clear away.
Interesting note, Matthew Lewis operating at left back with Schmidt at right back. I thought maybe Lewis would be right back with Quayle, but obviously Schmidt more suited to right back. So Lewis, he really is being shifted all across the defensive line, hasn't he?
And it's an aggressive left back too. He's been really bombing down that left-hand side early. I know he scored a goal a couple of weeks ago, but not known for his attacking exploits.
Scored against Kingborough last time too, if you'll remember.
Throws into the edge of the box. It's robbed by Hedge. Comes back through Lazinski. He just scoops up, and the Dunkaroo says thank you very much. Collects on the edge of his 6-yard area. Can just steady the ship for the Lions. Driven forward. Beyond halfway, they collide to Brown and Gasparinados. Nothing going, says Barker. Ship back the other way through Schmidt, and it bounces out of play.
That's going to be a fascinating clash between Brown and Gasparinados. Not strangers at all. They've both played their football together over the last few years at South Hobart. Gasparinados has got plenty of body. In fact, has probably put a few kilos on since he last played at South. He's going to be a big, strong target for them up top, and you can expect to see plenty of clashes throughout the 90 minutes.
So that's right, guys. Pretty well straight out. Lewis now waits for options. Lazinski tells him to play back, ignores that and goes more direct for Mann. Darcy Hall, he's off after that, but Duncan quickly off his line to sweep that one up. Darcy Hall, he's a whippet, he's up and about, he runs all over the place. He's outstanding against Olympia on the weekend as Turner now will get on the ball. That might be a handball, and indeed it is spotted by Kim Barker, and Downs thought about moving it quickly, but he'll just take his time now and let them get some numbers forward. Downs probably be the man on set piece duty today for South Hobart. Seems to have taken over that role.
Now, boys, today we're trying to raise the bar again. We've got a couple of cameras today. We've got 3, and Ash pulling the strings, and we've got a man down below, our answer to Cameron Ling, Jacob Batt. He's got red hair. I hope he forgives me for calling him Lingy, but we'll get down to him a little later on just to see how conditions are playing as Downs delivers long to the back post. lose everyone and goes out of play. I think the win maybe has died down even a little bit from the women's game. It was ferocious in that. It's still definitely a factor in this contest as Cuthbertson delivers through, flicked on by Gasparinatos. It's there for Cohen and Hunt, and Cohen wins out but puts it straight out of play. Schmidt throws down for Mann. He lets it run off his boot, and they should mop up through the Hedgehog. Finds the Dunkaroo. He's got Hunt closing him down, very nervily gets it forward. It's there in congestion. Turner comes out with a hustle and a bustle and finds Vidal out there. He's muscled off it. But then the muscle of Turner comes in. He maybe misjudges that one a little bit. Lewis looks to run away from it. Galante on the ball now. He plays straight to Lazinski. He should be able to mop it up, luckily. Not his best use out of defence. Shoveled forward. Oscar Thomas nods down as with Kingborough. Interesting contest to start, boys. Not the prettiest.
Yeah, we didn't expect a pretty one with the weather as it is. We can see already all the play going down South Hobart's left-hand side. I think we're going to expect a lot of that. Absolutely. You can see Lewis pushing up as Mann. Lays it off for Lewis, but good work there from Galante to block it, and it'll be another throw in.
Already we're seeing that quadrant of the field really receiving the majority of the play, that the wind really pushing the ball over there. Teams are going to find it increasingly hard to open up play, but I think there's big rewards, Drewy, for coming back through the middle, through the likes of Downs or a Turner, to open it up and come over this other side, because as you can see already, players are drawn over there, not just by the ball, but being pushed over by the wind, and they'll need to look at how they can open up this game, because it's a pretty tight and well-contested affair at the moment.
It's going to be a tough one as Lazinski flicks on for Mann. He in turn feeds it to Darcy Hall. He goes Hall himself and he's put it in the back of the net. 1-0 South Hobart. Darcy Hall, keeper got a bit of it. Not enough, and South Hobart take the early lead here.
Yeah, nice call, Drewy. They waltzed straight through the middle there. It was a bit too easy. Hall allowed to get in, and it looked for a moment like he might square it up. I think it was Hunt there waiting Johnny on the spot for what might have been a tap in, but decided to take it upon himself. You like to see youngsters do that, take the responsibility on, and he finished really well under the old Dunkaroo. Got the touch on it, but it ended up in the back of the net. South Hobart 1-0 early on in this game, Gilly.
Hall carrying on that form we saw on the weekend, and they're looking dangerous here, South Hobart. Delivered forward from Hunt. A little overshot for Mann, and it's out of play. It was a good opportunity and well taken from Hall. Good delivery, and he just made the most of the situation. Dunkaroo maybe would like to have that one again. Got a good piece of it. Probably should have seen it away from the net. It comes down from Mann, bounces ahead of Downs and out into the South Hobart technical area and out for a throw in.
Not too many goalkeepers I know are happy when they get beaten at their near post, and he got a piece of it, so I think the big Dunkaroo would rather have that one back. Tough one though, you've got to blame the defence more than him, I think. Allowed Hall just to waltz on through, one-on-one with him as they go forward here through Vidal. Turner with a lung-busting run, but Oscar Thomas across to put it out of play.
Really important 5 minutes for Kingborough Lions now, Drewy. How they respond to this might set up the final. South Hobart, the sort of team that will look to kill here in this next 5 minutes, tap another one home. Kingborough Lions really need to stand up as Vidal, I think it is, rattles off a shot with the left boot and grabs at the hamstring just gingerly. Doesn't look like he might have pulled up a little bit sore from that shot, but it was well wide, didn't trouble Pearce at all. Yeah, Drew, very, very important to see Kingborough Lions respond to that goal now.
Yeah, they don't want to let South get too on top here. They've got the win, so it's going to be hard for them, but there is that old saying, you're most vulnerable just after a goal, so maybe Kingborough should be really looking to press here. Get Watkins, get Billy G pressing the defenders. They're allowing them to waltz out from the back at the moment. I don't know if that's what they want to be doing as Lewis turns onto his left foot and plays it up the line. Across there. He's got himself into all sorts of trouble. His man now cuts inside. Albie Lazinski, the offside flag was raised though.
South Hobart playing a very attacking lineup at the moment. When they go forward, as Gilly just pointed out to me off air, they look to get 4 men very high up the park and put a lot of pressure under this Kingborough back four with then Kemp and Downs sort of playing, I guess, holding roles in the middle, in that 2 in midfield. So at the moment, Hall and Hunt pushing high alongside Lazinski and Braden Mann, who of course leads South Hobart today. Lions, a big 5 minutes to play now.
You'd probably describe it as a 4-2-2-2 formation, really, is what it seems to be at the moment. It's very aggressive, and That is a weakness of Kingborough. I think they're playing the ball out from the back, so I'm not at all surprised to see them pressing hard as Turner flicks on nicely. Now charging through the middle. Great ball. Oh, he's picked the man out. He's got round. Oscar Thomas enough to put him off. And Vidal blazes. It looked like a good opening there for Vidal. It was a beautiful ball played through to him, but Oscar Thomas did just enough to put him off.
A beautiful knock from Damien Pearce, and Vidal maybe just a heavy touch that took him a little bit too far wide. But early on in that play, Cohen coming and playing and presenting, giving a lovely ball to Turner, who just stepped over it and allowed Pearce to go on. Great vision from Turner in the middle there for Lions.
Doing it all, Turner. He's so important. We mentioned him plenty because he's so vital. He's going to have to play such a key role today, and he's already getting involved defensively for them. Here's Brown on the ball. He launches it long. Darcy Hall's got him behind Galante again, and he'll take the throw in, and that's a matchup I think South Hobart like. They like Darcy Hall running at Galante. He's causing him headaches early.
Absolutely, and Hall, a real confidence player for South Hobart. He'll take a lot from an early goal, and they'll look to find him as much as they can with that long diagonal ball, like we just saw Brown just try there, especially given the wind and the way that that's favouring. In this half, we'll see much more of that, I think, Drewy.
I don't think you're wrong, especially with big Albie Lazinski as your target man up there. You can play a bit of the long ball stuff when you've got him involved in your squad. Man pretty handy in the air too, as almost caught possession there, Kingborough, and that's well read by Connor Schmidt, getting it ahead of Cohen. Can he pick a pass? He can. As Lazinski turns and plays a beautiful through ball for the wrecking ball hunt. He cuts inside onto his left, and that's well out in the end by Hedge and seen to safety. But some good attacking moments here for South.
Kingborough Lions just need to make sure they don't get press too defensively and allow Gasparinados and Cohen to get isolated up top at the moment. There's a long gap between Lions defence and midfield and then their attacking line, and there's only so long that they're going to be able to hold that ball up as Kemp gets on the ball. He's through again, top of the 18, rattles a shot off, and it's well collected by the Dunkaroo.
That'll ease his nerves a little bit after that. Probably, you got to say, a bit of an error on his part, letting in the first goal. Well,
You've been stiff there, Gilly, I reckon.
An error so much as probably one he would have liked to do better with. But strong save there from the Dunkaroo. Shipped in from Galante in for Dale. It's well won by Hall, who started great. Comes to Downs. Flicked on by Manners with Honey. Hustles and bustles as he often does. Front from Dale. Heavy touch lets in Downs. He feeds Hall. He's looming large. He slips by one. He's got Hedge to deal with. Puts it for Hunt, who fires wide to the left. South Hobart all over him here.
That matchup again, Drewy, you pointed it out just before. They like Hall against Galante, and he just waltzed by him again there. So the young right back for Lions is going to have a tough day if it continues this way. Really interesting to see. South Hobart have managed to just keep Jack Turner off the ball. Interesting that Downs and Camp, a pretty young midfield, are really keeping that middleman quiet, and Jack Turner hasn't had really any impact on the game whatsoever.
It's been all one-way traffic so far, but here's a chance for the Lions as they get a rare 4-0 forward. They'll take their time. Goes in towards Dale. South Hobart getting everybody back here. Dale, oh, that was poor. That's an error. They can't afford that. They need some possession here. They're just letting South Hobart get it far too easily. They've got to keep a hold of the ball. South's just getting it all their own way as Lewis throws it in. Lazinski chests it down, brings it under his spell, lays it back all the way to Oscar Thomas. We've got plenty of time. Kingborough not really pressing at the moment, and that's a rather haphazard ball. Gives Pearce a bit of a problem. In the end, he does quite well and just launches it out of play. But, well, they didn't press, but they still forced an error there from South Hobart. That was pretty ordinary passing, you got to say.
It was indeed. Got a good little tweet in from Tommy Fotak, one of our favourites, of course, former Zebras Victory League coach. Just said he thinks it could be a bloodbath. He thinks South Hobart's carpet football will dominate. It's not a bad point considering the conditions. South Hobart don't mind keeping it on the deck, and that's probably conducive to the better football on a day like today. There's a throw in now as Galante brings it in. Finds Vidal. He's someone that can get the Lions going, and he does here. Feeds along the line looking for Turner to run. He uses his pace. He wins away from Thomas. Delivers in though, and Brown's the only one home. Clears for South Hobart and out for another throw-in.
Vidal looming is the key man on the counter-attacks. We know the pace he has, especially with Lewis getting up the field. I think Vidal is one they're going to need to. The wind's going to naturally mean that play's going to be down that flank. He's going to be key to his side's fortune as Lewis launches it long. Galante just sees it out of play safely. And the Kingborough crowd that were very, very vocal early, just gone a bit quiet. Their team not giving him a lot to cheer about at the moment. Direct throw here to Hall. He's running at Hedge. And both appeal for it, but it should be a goal kick, and it is.
Goal kick for the big Dunkaroo.
They do talk in these big games, Gilly, about silencing crowds. There's no doubt Kingborough Lions have got a big turnout here at the moment. As Drew pointed out, that goal has silenced them. No chance to be heard, very few people talking. It's a bit of a stunned crowd at the moment.
They find a little voice there, Callum Pass, because it's a foul against South Hobart, and they'll get an opportunity to press forward into their attacking half.
Got Timber getting up there, look at him.
I mentioned before Damien Pearce has scored a lot of goals from set pieces. I'd expect to see him maybe just wander forward as he looks to just slip in down the left-hand side. It's delivered long from Dale. Pearce under it, collects comfortably, but a lot of tall Timber racing towards him. He absolutely cannons that. This might be an unbelievable assist. In the end, he's almost got it too well, and man battles just to keep it in for a throw-in. He has uncorked a genie there.
Well,
he
you
has
can see just how much the
absolutely
wind,
smashed that.
you can see just how much the wind's affecting it, can't you? Just launching it there, and his distribution's a strong part of his game, Pearce. And with Kingborough just flooding bodies forward, he said, well, we'll take advantage of that. And in the end, the wind just got too much hold of it. So Duncan restarts here for Kingborough. Lazinski, well, he got a fair bit of the man with his head.
It was
but
a meaty challenge, wasn't
in
it,
the end,
Teresa?
Hedge just leaves it behind. It was indeed. I think Albie's had a fairly solid one, just collecting Dale in the middle there.
You've been working on some new Gillies, haven't you, Gilly, since I've been away? Because uncorked a genie, I haven't heard that one before.
Bit of a Dennis Committee one, that one.
It's a bit of a change-up from long and strong, as I normally hear from you out of the lips of Damien Gill. Hedge now, as he tries to come in forward, finds the feet of Vidal. It's given away. Kemp on the ball now. Mann looks to try and find Hunt. It just overhits it, and Duncan will collect.
Giving away a bit too cheaply at the moment in midfield, aren't they?
They're just struggling to string those passes together and settle on the ball. Turner unable to get into the game at the moment. Kemp is all over him. As Hall comes in again, he gets the ball. Galante tries to challenge into Mann. Mann rattles off a shot, and it flashes over the crossbar. Duncan undeterred by... unchallenged by that shot.
Yeah, and that all stemmed from some good anticipation from Matthew Lewis there, nipping in, read the play. And again, they're just breaking down whenever they get to the halfway line. This time we see the defender Lewis stamping in there. They're pressing hard. They're first to the ball at just about every occasion at the moment. They need a lift from somewhere. The Lions, this one will just bounce fairly harmlessly for Duncan.
The cheer squad doing their best to try and fire up Kingborough, but we haven't seen much of that on the field just yet. Pump forward from Duncan into the bullseye, won by Kemp, stolen from Watkins. Here we go, he uses that flash of pace, he streams through. Oh, he almost threads the needle, the ball's out to the right-hand side. Brown just kills the danger.
Just
from
a bit narrow
Hall
there. Gasparitis and
Downs.
Vidal need to spread. They all were too narrow and didn't stretch the South Hobart defence.
Far too narrow, Drewy, but what we just saw there was a glimpse of what Watkins can bring to this contest. He is electrifying when he has a bit of space in front of him that he can just use his pace and run into. And if they can feed him more, Kingborough are half a sniff.
Spot on, Drew. I think he just needed Cohen and Gasparinatos to peel off and open up the space there as Watkins looked to part the orange sea of Brown and the rest of the defence in South Hobart. It's Watkins with pace to burn, and they want to try to unleash him a bit more. Lazinski spreads it right to Downs. He'll rattle off a shot, a great first-time volley. Duncan parries, and Galante will head away. Great shot from the young midfielder there by South Hobart.
Yeah, just stinging the palms, and a good option. The wind very much drifting that direction, so every chance of just taking a top corner. He made great contact. Keeping it down is going to be the big challenge today for the long-range shots. And he did very well there as South Hobart building again. He's Darcy Hall looming large. Lazinski's been great so far, and he manufactures a shot. But it was always well wide.
We've seen a few of those go in from Alex Lazinski over the journey, but that one just a little bit too high for the goal frame. Delivered short from Duncan for Pearce. Feeds forward for Turner. He's got Downs hot on his heels. Hunt comes in to help out. From Downs, he chips ahead of Mann. It was overshot and bounces into the arms of Duncan, who accepts it gleefully. Rolls out. Cuthbertson takes a touch, looks to measure a ball that's straight into his own teammate. A bit of friendly fire, and this one will just roll out in the finish. I think it might be a Kingborough throw, but it's not a good little passage of play for Kingborough because they had an opportunity to get it out of the danger area, and now South Hobart can really press them.
Long throw from Pearce here into the feet of Cohen. Well nipped off him by Hunt. He goes forward into the feet of Hall. Nice flick from Mann to Lazinski. Doesn't quite come off, and Kingborough clear away. Gilly, I was going to say, very interesting to see Lazinski dropping in and doing a little bit of defensive work when South Hobart set up defensively, as Schmidt runs across the path of Cohen. But, yeah, interesting to see Lazinski dropping back into, I guess, the midfield role and maybe doing a little bit of a job. We see it again here in on Turner. Perhaps they're just looking to get that bigger body into the middle of the park to assist the likes of Kemp and Downs.
It's a throw-in for Pearce. Down the line he goes, looking for Cohen off his chest. Does well, finds Watkins. Watkins gets down the left-hand side, but he just gets a little bit too much on it. And it just streams out for a goal kick. So we look at the ground level camera. So Pearce will bring him out of defence and reset for South Hobart. This game's 22 minutes old and they hold a lead to South Hobart. An early goal through Hall in the 8th minute. Comes out, it was good delivery from Pearce. Finds Schmidt, drops it off for Hunt, who finds Downs. He puts Mann through, Mann latches onto it. But his first time effort just rolls past the desperate Duncan and is out for a goal kick.
He got in ahead of Duncan there. It was a well-timed run from the ball. Just couldn't quite bend it back enough, but he was a bit sharper than Duncan to the ball there.
You got to say, Drew, really lovely ball from young Chris Downs in the middle. I've been really impressed with how him and Kemp have started this game. They've got the midfield well under control for South Hobart. As Galante's under pressure again from Hall, but is able to turn. Under challenge from Mann, but then clears away, and it looks like it's a free kick for that challenge by Mann. Really impressed, though, with how South Hobart's young midfield have started, and a lot's got to be said for the distribution of Downs when he can pick out a ball like that to Mann on a day like today with the wind.
Yeah, the passing's been absolutely fantastic, especially given the conditions. It's been South Hobart at their best so far. They've come out firing, there's no doubt about it. They've really put the heat on the Lions. They've already scored one. They're looking like a second. They're really piling it on as Lazinski turns back to Lewis. He puts a cross in, but it's a bit over it. It's turned into a shot, and the keeper's been called off his line. Matthew Lewis, if you don't mind. He's chipped him from about 40 yards.
No.
You would not believe it. The keeper's been caught off his line. We mentioned the wind would be a factor, and it's just curled it in underneath.
Matt
How
Lewis,
about that?
you arrogant son of a gun. Oh, what an effort from Lewis.
I'm sure
but
he'll tell you he meant it.
Unforgivable from Duncan. Unforgivable.
Yeah, Gilly, I feel for the keeper there. It is tough conditions at the moment with the wind, but that's got to be savable.
Lewis.
All the time in the world to see that ball coming long and strong from Lewis.
I
And
had a look at the,
G pops up with another goal in as many weeks.
It actually saying 52.
He hasn't scored a goal in like 6 years of seeing football or something.
Kilometres. I don't think it's quite reached that at the moment.
A couple of weeks he's done
but
it.
bad news
That
is that the
left-back
forecast
position,
is for
he's
later.
responded.
Possible thunderstorms and also hail.
Ash Wilkes, who
So
might
we
be standing by
certainly
to
hope
get
that
ground level thoughts.
we don't see any of that, and that's well into the night. We'll keep you
Ash,
updated from down here. Cheers, thanks
travelling?
guys.
Yes, with a push in the back there and eventually thumped out of there. Man chases after this one. He's corralled by Dale. They get back and forth, but Man just turns onto his left and couldn't quite pick the pass out, but they're not out of danger yet. Lazinski looked to spread it, but good anticipation there. And charging forward now for the Lions. Oh, there's some tackles flying in. There's a bit of heat in this contest. In Renita response, they're 2-zip down there in real trouble. South Hobart really piling the pressure on. Here's Man, but the numbers back there for Dow. They work it, but it's not convincing. Turner might overlap down the left. Can he get in behind Schmidt? He can. It's good from Jack Turner. He'll go the 1-2, but brilliantly anticipated by Oscar Thomas. Those long legs just cover so many metres. He just nipped in there nicely. Now Man lays off for Lazinski. Good coming together there. That was a good challenge from Watkins, doing some good defensive work. It's a furious pace to this game. South Hobart are the ones who it's suiting. Well, I think Kingborough would like to just take the sting out of this game if they could.
Oscar Thomas, what a quality young player he is. Going back to the finish from Lewis, although it was probably a howler from Duncan, smart bit of play from Lewis to just spot him off his line a little.
Oh, I think
take
that was
on the
a cross.
shot.
You're being very
Take on the
generous
shot
there.
and finish it off. I'm giving him credit where it's due. I'm not saying that in jest at all.
I think, Gilly, more importantly, playing percentages. He's thought, I'll hang this ball up. A day like today, anything can happen with the wind. Maybe I'll get Lazinski in for the head. Maybe I'll get Mann in for the head. And who knows, maybe one will drop in underneath the crossbar if it hangs up high enough. And credit to Lewis for trying it out. I certainly don't suggest for a second that it was a shot. But playing the percentages and it's come off for him.
I was about to say, I don't think it was a shot at all, but I was just trying to give him a bit of love. And you guys shot it down.
Well, the fact is that Luai's going to claim it was a shot for certainty. There's no doubt. He's the only one who'll know what his intent was, but I'm sure he'll claim it
Hunt
was
now
a shot.
with the ball. Sorry to interrupt Drewster as he looks to race down the left-hand side. Hedge gets across, clatters into him, but the ball keeps running. It's out for a goal kick. We might take this opportunity to get thoughts from our equivalent to Cameron Ling down on ground level. Ash, if you can put him through.
Yeah, look, I think South, obviously they're dominating here. The wind is certainly assisting them. It's at least 2, if not 3 goals. We certainly saw that in the women's game as well. The plays to the right of the screen. In saying that though, Kingborough have had a few good opportunities of their own. Unfortunately, I think there was a touch by Vidal where he just took it too far away from the goal. Let's hope the rest of the game is a little bit better with the conditions. Thanks guys, over to you.
Thanks for that, Jacob. Beautiful stuff, sharp, crispy stuff. Cameron Ling-esque. There's a foul in midfield, a slice of cheese for Alex Lazinski. Gives Kingborough their first real reason to cheer in the crowd. And he looks in serious strife.
So it might have just gone from bad to worse here for Kingborough. It's Dale who's on the receiving end of this one. It was a full-blooded challenge from Lazinski, and he's a very solid bloke. And Dale's certainly come off worse for wear, so we hope he's all right. He's still down, but it's not looking good for the Lions here, Pasky.
Strange to see the trainer run out with no equipment, no bag, nothing to treat the player if he is injured. The Kingborough bench look on, a little bit worried, of course. Dale's still down. I think they've sent Big Joel Scutt, I think, to warm up.
Stretches out.
And the stretcher is out, and Dale looks like he might not play any further part. Both teams in now to huddles and just collecting themselves. South Hobart certainly look the happier. There's plenty of high fives in that huddle at the moment. Very excited about how it's going. Dale in agony on the ground, hitting the ground at the moment. You got to feel for a player. It's a big cup final, and as a player, all you want to do is play out 90 minutes. Even if you are at the moment losing, he would want to be contributing to his team, and it looks like he knows that that his game is over. It's not what you want to see, Drewy.
Yeah, he's in a world of pain, and you don't want to see that. We wish him all the best with his recovery. That's his day almost certainly done. It's an awful coming together. He's come off second best. Lazinski, I don't think there's any doubt he's going for the ball, but he's just such a solid bloke, and I've got a lot in behind it.
Down ground level now.
Yeah, look, obviously there's an injury here. It's not what we want to see, but hopefully he'll be okay. I missed actually who it was, but we don't have anyone currently warming up here on the bench for Kingborough, which is interesting. So they might see how he is in the rooms and maybe play with 10 men for a few minutes, which would be interesting. Okay, guys, thanks. Over to you.
Thanks, Jacob. He didn't have plenty to add from there. He couldn't see from his position, but Dale looks in all sorts of strife, boys. His hands are over his face. I think that's the end of his day.
The crowd gives him a round of applause, and that is tragic in a cup final. A big day, one of the biggest days of his footballing career, no doubt, and it's going to end after just 30 minutes here. The substitution will be made here. Palmer coming on, I think, for Kingborough. So, like for like, really.
On comes the big Vil Palmer. On he comes, slots into midfield. He's a real hustler and bustler, and he doesn't shoot the issue. He really has a crack in there, and I think he's not a bad replacement, especially given the way things are at 2-0 down, 30 minutes done on the clock.
Have they used that break just to settle things down because they're rattled at the moment, Kingborough? Here's a good moment, though. Oh, they might have just... Here's Cohen, but Lewis, the goal scorer, just outworked him. I don't know how he managed to sneak back in. Cohen, looked for all the money like he was going to get the shot away, but well defended again. But
what's
the response here?
Lewis, he's done well, just body position, I think. He's just worked him off the ball and robbed it off him. Nice bit of defending there, and we've seen him do it both ways now, Lewis.
As Darcy Hall, I think, is caught with a handball there, so a set-piece opportunity for the Lions. And this swirling breeze, if you can just get it in close to Pearce, you want to put doubt in his mind. You want to make him come for the ball, put it near the 6-yard box.
Big opportunity for our boy Stork here, just to roll his noggin onto one. It comes in long. It's a good ball. Top of the 6. Down to a grateful Chris Downs to clear away, and South Hobart might break now through Hunt. He's got pace to burn. Man's on the ball now, and Turner there to clear away for Lions.
Mann and Hunt running into each other there. Not enough communication. I think Mann is probably at fault. He should have left that one for Hunt. Got centrally in a position. The ball, that was just a hat clearance, really turned into a brilliant through ball because of the wind. Just put the spin on it. She started flying through, but a bit of a miscommunication between the frontmen there. That could have been very dangerous. The Lions, as it is, they survive. Here's Darcy Hill just bringing it down with a nice touch. Kemp feeding one through for Mann. He gets there first. Back to Hunt, and he's butchered a glorious opportunity. Oh, Hunt, he surely had to hit the target there. Some brilliant build-up play from Kemp and squared by Mann. And Hunt should have made it 3-0.
That's a Barry Crocker from Hunt. He should have put that through, and it should be 3-0 right now for South Hobart, but it's not. I'm interested to know how much of an advantage this breeze is. Of course, it seems to be blowing towards South Hobart's end. I'm not sure, as we just see that one hang up from the goal kick. It's down for Hunt. He has it stolen off him by Gasparinados with good body pressure. Gets it through. Brown checks him after he gets rid of it. Gasparinados far from pleased with the treatment. It's a free kick for Kingborough just inside their own half.
Fair to say, Dogger Brown, not the most popular man with the Kingborough fans. Certainly not a type of player that the opposition fans tend to love too much. He's the type of player you want on your team, but if he's against you, you just hate him, don't you?
Yeah, I think every club loves to have one of those players. Drew, in fact, I think they'd happily take 2 or 3 more. A player that has been a one-club man, aside from, I guess, a stint at Beachside in Championship one year where he wasn't playing at the highest level, but he's been a real servant for South Hobart and a real leader underneath Mann, who of course captains them today.
So Cohen trying to get something happening here. Here's Vidal, nods it down for Billy G. He lobs one over the top, and Pearce was alert to the danger, fumbles it, but recovers it. Interesting that the referee allowed that to go on anyway, but Pearce recovered it well. It's a lovely little through ball. As the front three linking up well there. They need to see a bit more of that. Some signs of Kingborough showing some signs of life here again. Pearce just with a booming ball, but too much on it. And the keeper Duncan, well, he made a bit of a hash of the fist in the end and sees it out of play. But the long direct ball from Pearce again, just end-to-end football and putting the defence of Kingborough and the goalie right under the pump and not dealing with it particularly well at the moment, you have to say, the Lions.
We see that replay. In the end, Pearce recovering well. Just to see it at bait. Back live now. It's a throw in for Lewis. Into the box they go, South Hobart. It's one through the height of Cuthbertson and just shipped up the park from Vidal. Bounces long beyond halfway. I'm interested to know how much the breeze is playing into things. I might get down to Jacob Batt down on ground level and just see what he thinks.
Yeah, guys, the wind's picked up here again. It's at least a 2-goal breeze to the right of the screen.
Set piece here, Downs comes in, well-headed, clear by the Storm.
It's interesting, the Kingborough people are actually pretty vocal down here. I think half of Kingston are actually in the stands by the looks of it. They're certainly not happy with the tackle there, which which had Dale have unfortunately having to be taken off. So it'll be interesting to see the highlights from that later on. Thanks, guys.
Back now with the action as Turner switches out, finds Cuthbertson on a marauding run for the big Storkel. He's brought down and there's some afters with Brown. Brown shown a yellow. The Kingborough crowd find their voice well and truly. Brown loves a slice of cheese.
I think that'll see him potentially miss as we see this challenge again. Wiley work from the big Stork. He just left the ball and let Brown take him. Certainly played for that. He's not the sort of player that's going to get in and whip a really nice ball with a left boot. The big Stork who trundled up from the centre of defence, but well played. Set piece now. Cohen whips it in. Front post, it's there. Well headed clear by South Hobart and they scramble away. Kingborough Lions starting to find a foothold in this game.
Finding an avenue through the set piece here, causing some problems with those teasing crosses into the dangerous area. It looks their best avenue to goal as Dogger Brown just
comes to Watkins.
Only as far as Watkins. And now here's Billy G. Took a touch, took another touch. Third touch, it was just dealt with and thumped out of there convincingly by South Hobart. Well, it's gone all the way to Duncan. The wind really picking up a hold, but Kingborough will reload from the back here through Galante.
They can reset. Galante propels them forward down the right-hand side, and it just ends up out of play and out for a South Hobart throw. We're 37 minutes old.
Gilly, every single good bit of play from Lions has come down this left wing, and they're not getting it out here enough. Another chance there for Galante to say, you know what, I don't need to go long and strong down the right here. I can bring it back inboard through Hedge and Stork and come out to the left and find Pearce. But as it stands, they're going too many times down that right-hand side, and their best attacks have no doubt come down the left.
Yeah, Lewis has been pretty solid at left full-back. It's one of the young Connor Schmidt can get caught forward a little bit, so that's something they could look to exploit. He's sitting back. You can see how deep Cohen is sitting at the moment. As South's pressuring. Look at this. Galante in the end is forced to play it out, and the pressing of the front four of South Hobart's been a real highlight. We did suggest that the ball playing abilities of the Kingborough defence, they weren't the best passing out from the back, and they're really feeling the pressure. They're really being put under the pump here as Hunt turns, somehow beats one, but recovering, but he was found in the process. So a set piece opportunity here for South Hobart as we tick into the 39th minute of play. 2-0 South Hobart. It's been utter dominance for the most part so far. We're just starting to get a foothold in the game, but they wouldn't want to concede from this one.
Interesting to note that this is played short. It's there for Lazinski. He takes the shot. It's blocked down well, and they'll just scurry it out, Kingborough. Looking for Gasparinatis to compete. It's out of play ahead of him. And out for a throw-in. Interesting to note, Jacob Batt down on the ground said it's a significant breeze. He thinks potentially a 2-goal breeze. I don't know whether he's just being influenced from the Kingborough faithful, but he thinks it's having a significant say. I'd suggest maybe a goal in the breeze. So Kingborough not out of this one.
I think it's certainly helping South Hobart, but the way they've been passing the ball along the deck, I think even if they're going the other way, they're still going to cause plenty of headaches for the Lions. They're playing good football, and despite the wind, I think they're still going to keep doing that in the second half.
That's it, isn't it, Drew? The way South Hobart play, the wind hasn't been a major factor for them.
So they'll whip this one in. He's going to try the shot, and just about glass there by Duncan. Almost nutmegged himself there. He was down low. As we see Andy Brennan, luminary here in the crowd, just wandering past. Wouldn't South Hobart love to have him out there today? Andy Brennan, all the best to him, of course, in the A-League ventures.
Of course, part of the team that won the Lacka Seljack Cup last year is Stork, just strolls by one. Looks to get by Hunt, tried too much in the finish. Downs gets involved. Stork determined not to be beaten. Wins a foul. Probably made the best out of a bad situation there, did Stork. Pumped long from Turner, looking for Vidal. Not using the wind well, but it comes to Vidal. He skids along. It's swept away. Comes for Turner. Takes a touch. Finds Gasparinatos. Looks out to the left. It's blocked and it's there for South Hobart, but Gasparinatos bustles in. Pressure on Kemp. Hall tries to get it out. It's there for Watkins. He tries a speculative effort. Falls for Turner. He wiggles and goes right. Comes back for Watkins. Bit of miscommunication. Switched out from the big Vil Palmer. It's there for Scutt. Cohen. He's got Schmidt for company in there, and Schmidt wins out, and it's a goal kick.
Moments in attack here from the Lions. Again, as Paskey's mentioned, when they're shifting it to the left, they're looking dangerous. They've been caught too far on the right-hand side too often. When they've brought it in board, they've had their best moments in this game. And again, that was the case here as Kobe Kemp drops in short to receive the ball, and he's off with a good turn of pace, but sees nothing he likes and just lays it back to Oscar Thomas. Very patient build-up this from South from the back. Pearce now goes across to Brown. Cohen immediately presses him. Good little 1-2 there, and now Connor Schmidt might be away. He's got man bursting for him. But well done by Pearce to break up the play and see it out.
More importantly, when they can get the Jack Turner, Watkins, Cohen on the ball, and even Gasparinados in that last play, that's when they look dangerous, Drewy, and they need to find their feet more often instead of those long, strong balls down the right. Lewis picks it up now. He might try for the brace. No, little bit of a miscommunication with man, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. Perhaps, as Drewy suggests, Lewis should have rattled off another shot and hoped for top right, top left corner.
When you're in the rich vein of goal-scoring form that Lewis can now describe himself as being in, why not have a shot? Or maybe even just try and hit across it might fly in, as was the case for him earlier. As Jack Turner on the ball, but he's given that one away a little too cheaply. The wing commander just knocks it back to Brown. South Hobart being a little bit more patient now. The pace that was so furious early in the game has just died off a little. The tempo just slowing as Lewis chips one for Hunt to chase after. Getting across was Hedge, and he'll just escort that out of play. So South Hobart just lost the patience there and just tried to play the direct ball. It was a nice slow build-up and then went bang, and just with this wind, it's very hard to play that ball.
Junior experience of Lazinski's good here. Look at him, this goal kick. He'll drop into the centre again just to help out Kemp and Downs, and he won the header from the last goal kick. He'll miss this one now. Brown will come forward, but two big experienced lads who are defensively doing a lot of work for South Hobart. As Palmer puts on a challenge into Downs, and just a judge to have pulled his shirt. So Downs picks up the free kick for South Hobart.
So Kemp just lays it back for Thomas, almost lazily, and he then goes to Brown. And this started to creep into South Hobart's play a little bit. A lot of passing backwards, and we didn't see a lot of it early. So Kingborough Lions perhaps finally getting their structures like, getting them right. They're very easily broken down early on as Jack Turner on the ball here. He spreads it left, and just had enough on it to find its way to Pearce. He goes to Billy G. This is good link-up play. Turner heavily involved. He now goes the direct pass, tried to find the space in behind Schmidt, but he was just tall enough to get ahead on it. Now here's Darcy Hall. He's electrifying, couldn't quite get that one. He's faded a little bit, Hall. His first 25 minutes, he was outstanding. Hasn't seen as much of the ball in the last 15 minutes as South Hobart would have liked, I think.
Yeah, they've just switched Hunt and Hall up. Hunt's gone out left. He hasn't seen a lot of the ball, and perhaps that's just Morton's way of trying to get Hunt into the game. We've seen the ball going over a lot onto that far side, and maybe he wants Hunt to feel the touch of leather for a little bit.
Tweet in from Chris Nicholson. Go and get a toasted sandwich, come back, and housemate has scored. Shots on point, Wood housemate again. Not sure about the hashtags, but of course referring to Matt Lewis's goal. Played forward, it's cut off by Hedge, but not the most convincing effort. In the end, the wind helps it out on this near side, and it's out for a throw-in. Schmidt looking down the line, throws for Lazinski. Stork bustles in and comes out off him and out for another throw-in. So South Hobart continual work down this right-hand flank. So down the line it goes. Hall gets a piece of it and runs out, so it'll be Kingborough's ball.
Pearce will take the throw. Billy G offering short. He's got Dogger Brown for company there. Oh, some fancy footwork from Watkins. I'd love to see a bit more of him on the ball. And was that going to open up for an advantage? The referee didn't. Let's see it there. We'll take the free kick in again. They'll get the big bodies forward here. And the Lions just going to feel finally settled. They took quite a while, but they're starting to get into some groove. But it's much more of an even contest in the last 10, 15 minutes.
They'd love to go in, having dragged the goal back in this last minute or so, Drew. There'll be a little bit of stoppage time. Brown with a free header in defence for South Hobart. Lazinski tries to bring it down. He can't. Hedges there to clear away, and it's with Galante now. They get a chance to come forward. Galante strides forward into the feet of Gasparinados. He turns nicely. Palmer rolls up a shot, and it's wide to the right. And a great passage of play. Again, Gasparinados linking up really nicely, getting the ball down, turning and playing in the big Veal Palmer, but he couldn't slot it inside the right-hand upright, and South Hobart get away. They remain two goals to the good with just a few minutes of stoppage time to play in this first half.
There's a sharp bit of work there by Gasparinatos. We see his threat there, these nice little flick-ons, and he holds it up well. Maybe with the wind at his back, he can do a bit more damage in the second half. We'll find out. As Pearce pumps along, comes off the head of Vidal, and it's there for them as Palmer wings away from Lazinski. It comes to Watkins. He looks to run away with it. Brown again involved in a bit of afters.
He's already on
He
a
loves
yellow.
it. He's come in hard. Who's he collected there, Drew?
I'm trying to see who's got
It is-
down there rolling around on the ground.
It is Billy G. Billy Gasparinatos.
He's going to need to be very careful, Gilly. He's on a slice of cheese already. We see Brown here come through the back and just clatter Gasparinatos. I think Billy Gas has probably played a little bit for that as well. He knows Brown's on a yellow card. Back underway live again now. Vidal in on the right. A good ball to the front post. And Hedge rattles off a volley, and Pearce grabs it second go. Brown is going to be treading a fine line for the last 45 minutes. I reckon another strong challenge, and he's off, Gilly. As we see Hedge try for that just slightly missed time volley. He had to reach for it, and Pearce gratefully accepted that one at second go.
So the big Dunkaroo, the dying embers of the first half here, 2-0 down. It's not gone the way the Lions would have liked, but they've still got time to pull one back, although man pressing hard again. Been a real feature of his play. He's not done a lot with the ball as much today, man, but his work off the ball has been outstanding. Lazinski, I thought he used a hand to control it there. The referee missing that one, but play on. Lazinski goes flying in again. Darcy Hall, battling hard was Cohen. Real tough battle for the ball, and flying up, that is Billy G. And much to the anger of this Vocal Lions crowd, is adjudged to a foul. I don't think the referee's got that wrong, though. It seemed like a foul to me.
No, it was a foul. Just to the dismay of the strong and vocal crowd, but it was definitely a foul, that's for sure. Billy G came in, not a heap of intent for the ball, and didn't get anywhere near it. And that draws a close to an entertaining opening half here in the Lacka Seljuk Cup Grand Final. South Hobart leading at this point 2-0 over the Kingborough Lions. We're going to have a little halftime interview as Jacob Batt gets in position. He'll go and find, I think, the goal scorer, Matt Lewis, and have a quick word. We'll see what happens here as Batt seeks him out. See the players come into the sheds. He'll come over and have a quick chat. So we might get down to Jacob Batt with a chat with the opening goal scorer, or the second goal scorer rather, Matt Lewis.
Yeah, cheers. We've got Matty Lewis here, goal scorer in the first half. First of all, Matty, tell us about how it is playing out there in these conditions.
You saw with my cross, turn goal, it's just ridiculous out there, and definitely favouring our side. So 2-0's probably, we're not really feeling like that's enough at the moment. We would have wanted at least 3 then, just really consolidate the lead.
Yeah, all right. And any game plans with playing against the Breeze in this half?
Well, we didn't really do well against it last week against Devonport, so we have to really change our way. Going long is not going to work. Trying to keep on the deck as much as we can, I guess, but easier said than done.
And cup football, it's certainly a physical encounter out there at the moment.
Yeah, a couple of our boys have to tread carefully in the second half. A couple of yellow cards, tempers flying over, so yeah, got to be careful.
All right, cheers, mate. Best of luck. That was Matty Lewis there. Over back to you guys.
Thanks, Jacob. A nice little update from down there from Matt Lewis. Of course, one of the first half goal scorers, 2 goals for South Hobart in that opening half. The first from Darcy Hall in the 8th minute, and the second from Matt Lewis a little later on. He mentioned there, Drew, he didn't mean it at all. He said it was a cross and the wind blew it in, so he's certainly not claiming it.
Refreshing honesty there. I certainly would say that if I had to hit that, I would be claiming it for everything it was worth, but no, good modesty from Luan. Just look at the shot in the background you're seeing there. That is some ominous looking weather heading our way, I think, Damien. That could play a factor in the second half. And it's going to be a second half where the Lions are going to have to change things up. They'll obviously have the wind, but that first half, until the last 10-15 minutes, it was all one-way traffic, and you've got to say South Hobart probably good value for their 2-goal lead.
Well, another interesting thing that Matt Lewis said down on the ground with Jacob Batt, he said he wasn't all that comfortable with the position. We might get we might get Jacob, who's got the injured skipper Hugh Ludford down there for an interview.
Yeah, g'day, Hugh Ludford here, mate. What do you make of the game?
It's been pretty scrappy, as to be expected with this nice breeze we've got going here. I think our boys have played the better footy so far, but Kingborough have had a few chances, so we're going to be on our toes in the second half.
Yeah, and I guess I was talking to Matty Lewis before, talking about trying to play against the breeze here and stop their pace there with Vidal, Cohen and Watkins.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this half they've got the win, so the ball's going to run away from them a bit. I mean, if they don't adjust to that, it's going to be sailing out for them. So, I mean, it might work in our favour, but it is going to be very hard for us playing out from the back. So we're going to have to be pretty cautious, and I mean, if we have to, we're going to have to play towards the wings, not too much through the middle.
And is 2 goals enough?
Oh, I reckon so, but it's a dangerous lead, as they say. So an early one in the second half here, and yeah, 3-0. Hopefully we'll push away with it. But yeah, we just have to come out like we did in that first half, on top in the first 10, and yeah, hopefully put it to bed early.
All right, cheers. Thanks for that, Hugh. What's up? And that was Hugh. Cheers. Thanks.
Back to us. Thanks for that interview. Batty down there on the ground doing wonderful stuff. Hugh Ludford again just saying the breeze was a fair factor then. Matt Lewis before him said that they would have preferred to maybe take in a 3-0 lead, such as the breeze. And he noted last week when they fell to Devonport, of course, in the league, that they didn't do great against the breeze. It was a problem for them, and obviously hoping for improvement in this second half.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's actually, for mine, a massive advantage playing with it in the first half. It's allowed them to build this lead. They've got something to protect. I think you'd rather be sitting on the lead than chasing it, even with this breeze. So Luo might have wanted a third there, but I think they'll be pretty satisfied, and Kenny Morton will be pretty happy with a 2-goal lead. We did see some signs of life from the Lions late in the half. I just think maybe they were obviously not quite as accustomed to the big occasion, haven't played these cup finals like South Hobart have in the past. Maybe that was a factor early on. They took a while to settle, their passing was off. South Hobart, by contrast, it was crisp, it was along the deck. They moved the ball around beautifully, and that's what helped them build that 2-goal lead. Once they settled into their groove a bit more, Turner got into advanced positions, Watkins got the ball, they started spreading it around, they looked a lot better. They just took a little while to adjust. Now, obviously, South Hobart have got that lead. The wind will be a factor, but they know what they've got out there. They know the scenario. Kingborough, obviously, we're just figuring that one out. It's going to be tough for them. I think it's going to be too much, but we'll see. They've certainly got the cattle out there. We've seen Vidal get in behind a couple of times. His pace is a real threat. Billy G with some nice link-up work. They've got the weapons to do it. I'm not sure they can, but this game is far from over, Gilly.
Yeah, Drewster, I actually agree with Hugh Ludford, who we just spoke to Jacob down there. In the first 10 minutes will be really important. It's important that South Hobart come out and really fire out of the blocks like they did in that first half, because that's where I think if they can get a goal against the breeze, I reckon it's good night Irene for Kingborough Lions. They've got to really, in turn, also Kingborough have to make a real focus of the first 10 minutes, because I think that's where the match will be won or lost.
Yeah, it's always important to come out firing after a break, and there's no doubt that they will not want to start like Kingborough did. They were sloppy at the start. They can't afford that, and Kingborough need to be better. But late in the half, they showed good signs. I think Cohen was one in particular who's starting to exert a bit of influence, as we've got another interview down the sidelines.
Okay, we've got Albie here. Albie's going to tell us who the kids are here with Halftime Heroes.
We've got the Kingborough Lions SAP kids, the young Lion SAP kids out there, 9 to 12-year-olds, all of our bright young stars of the future out there doing their best.
Hopefully another one to add to the pack there in a few years' time, I guess. So the pride.
Yeah, look, there's a couple of curly boys out there that look like they're going all right. Look at that one. David Louise, look-alike.
Okay, and your thoughts on the match? 2 goals. Can we come back, or can you come back, I should say?
Oh yeah, I thought they were on their way back there in the second half. Didn't you think sort of late in the second half they were coming back?
Late in the second half, they had a few good opportunities, but they just got to put them away, though, of course.
Oh yeah, a little bit of luck. Here comes the Hogster now. Oh.
Okay, thanks for that, Albie. Cheers.
Really solid stuff from Lingy down the boundary there. He slotted in a couple of good lines puns. We had another one to add to the pack, to roar with the pride in years to come. Great to see the kids down there playing playing for the Sap. And we've got the big Hog's Breath, the big pig, trying to get the crowd revved up ahead of this second 45, Gilly.
Falling flat at it.
You called Kingborough Lions. What a bizarre mascot. But they've got the Hog Stuff from Hog's Breath, of course, a partner of Kingborough, I believe, just getting up and about. Hopefully Kingborough Lions follow him in that suit. Lingy's probably watching on down there on the boundary. But Kingborough Lions with it all to do in this second half, Callum Pass. 2 goals they've got to reel in. Do you think they're up to the task?
Oh, gee, look, interesting to hear your thoughts on how important the first 5-10 minutes will be in this second 45. Important that Lions come out and pull an early one back, and certainly not concede the third, because it'll be curtains then. It's a long, long way back for the Lions. South Hobart have been in these games plenty of times before. They know how to win them, and I've been really, really impressed with their defensive setup and the work that Lazinski's done defensively. He's been really important for them, I think. But look, it's hard to see how the Lions can come back into this. Is the wind that much of a factor? I'm not sure. But the first 5 minutes will tell, that's for sure, Gilly. Just a quick shout out. I know we had a few interesting shout outs last year in the Lacquer Cup and FFA Cup coverage, but nice to have a few people along. Looks like Rory Carroll's joining us, perhaps from Sydney. He's tweeting along. Nice to have Rory Carroll on board, and a few other people tuning in. So if you are out there around Australia watching this FFA Cup, Lacquer Seljack Cup clash, get in touch. Send us a tweet. Use the FFA Cup hashtag. Use the Lacquer Cup hashtag, LAKA Cup, and let us know what it's like out there and your tips for the second half.
Yeah, boys. It was an interesting opening half, of course. The goals to South Hobart. Kingborough with it all to do in this second half. We might just have a little bit of a breather now and just gear up for the second half, boys. And we'll be back very, very shortly. Canberra Lions make their way back out onto the pitch for the second half of this clash. We've got Jacob Batt down there, hopefully trying to pick out a coach or someone. We'll see how we go as South Hobart also make their way back onto the field. And they're a splendid orange. Of course, Dale not coming back on. Jacob actually said before that there were reportedly stud marks on the knees of Dale, so a fair challenge there from Lazinski.
Gilly, I think perhaps one of the big ones to watch in this last 45 is, will Dan Brown stay in the park? He's on a yellow already. He's made a further challenge. He's going to be treading that tightrope for the next 45, and that's going to be really important. If Kingborough can get at him, maybe use Watkins or Vidal to maybe make him play that last ditch challenge and get South Hobart at 10 men and the wind, perhaps they'll get the chance. I think we've got Jacob Batt perhaps down on the ground stand.
I don't think so.
No, doesn't look like he's managed to grab anyone. Fair enough. We're about to get underway again here, Gilly.
Well, in addition to the howling wind, we've now got some rain to be thrown into the mix, so the weather continues to become wilder and wilder here at KG5 as Lazinski gets the ball to start the half. And you did mention Dogger Brown on the tightrope. We saw last time these two teams met, it was Jack Turner who got sent off, and it was Kingborough controlling that contest that day, but the red card completely swung things around, so certainly something to keep an eye out for.
5 o'clock and it's pretty dark. It's getting pretty gloomy here at KG5, so the lights definitely playing a part now. Throw in now for Kingborough. They venture forward through Pearce. It's up for grabs. Lazinski loses it but wins back with a bit of help from Mann. Comes down for Cohen. He finds Galante, not with any conviction. Pressure coming from Hall, back through Hedge. Turn ends up on it, just nudges it inside for Palmer. It's with Hedge. Oh, he very, very nervily shifts it out onto the right-hand side. Cohen tracks it down, but it's too late as it runs across the line and out of play.
Same half, same story there. The pressing of South Hobart causing problems for the back four as Darcy Hall flicks one on for Mann to chase after, but the big stalk will get there first and just thump it into the fans up here in the stand. Rather subdued just for the moment. They were quite vocal periods during the first half, but they're not being given a lot to cheer about by Kingborough so far.
A couple of cracking tweets coming in. The first from Josh Fielding. Of course, Silk Boxers Fielding. Played in the final last year. Loving the cool, cheesy puffs. Poor standard game. Lions are more like pussycats. How about Hobart turning on the weather? Go south. So his old South allegiance shining through there. Big Fishy as it comes to Kemp in midfield. He finds Hunt. Gets inside, he's clipped down, and that'll be a foul and a free kick for South Hobart. The other tweet coming from Rig Douglas. Lions still a chance. There have been some famous come from behind victories in this cup. Remember the 2002 final, Paskey.
Oh, I remember the 2002 final, 10 men down. We came back and
10
won.
10 men down,
10
so
men,
yeah,
10
one.
We had one on the park, one down, and we won it. Gilly, golden goal. That was back when golden goal existed. Looks like Mann's told Chrissy Downs that he's going to take this one, but I was expecting Chris Downs to step up and say, you know what, let me ice this game, because he's a free kick specialist like his older brother. Drew, call us through this one.
Yeah, I think it is going to be Mann who's shaping to shoot here. He goes with a drive, but it's always rising high, and perhaps would have been better off just leaving that one for Downs.
If I'm Chrissy Downs, I'm tapping the captain on the shoulder there and saying, next time we get a posse like that, let me ice this game.
Yeah, there's your one chance, and you blew it. You blew it.
That's the good thing about being captain, though. You can pull rank, and what's he going to say to him? Nothing.
Beyond halfway, Kemp wins down. It's there for Cohen, but he lets it run and out for a Kingborough throw-in. Ferocious winds howling through KG5 Football Park. Rain coming down. Stage set for Kingborough. Long throwing comes off the back of Turner. It's there for Vidal, but it just eludes his outstretched boot, and it's collected by Pearce. It's been pretty solid.
Gee, with the throw from this right-hand side of that wind is going to be a serious factor in the second half, I think, Damo.
We're back with the action now, and it's shifted from midfield forward for Lewis, but it's overstruck from Kobe Kemp, and it's another throw-in from Lions. Decent little spell for them. Throw-in for Turner, bobbles up on him, comes for Palmer. He loses it. Lazinski nudges forward off the chest of man, one from Hedge. Turner loses it. It's back with South Hobart through the goal scorer, Matt Lewis. Whips it forward. It hangs up in that howling wind and comes back for Kemp. Palmer robs it off the boot of man, and maybe Kingborough can build here. Oh no, the ball lets them down, and Schmidt skips by him. Dinks over the top, finds man. He's inside the area now. He fires off a shot, and it's wide to the right.
Some lovely fancy footwork from the fullback there to forge that chance for man, and then he sides on through and hammers the shot over the post. It wasn't far away. We've seen him put them away many times down the years, Braden Mann. You don't want to give him too many more looks like that. So Duncan will launch it long. It'll be less of a task for him with the goal kicks this half. Man looked to just lob it over the top, but the man who was trying to lob it over was the big stalk. Good luck with that, Braden. Goes out to Pearce down the left-hand side now. He's got Vidal on short, ignores him, instead went the direct ball, but that was well read by Brown. He too turns it over, and the stalk doing some good intercepting work there. So back down this left-hand side, just like the first half, the attacking all down one side of this pitch.
South Hobart will have the throw in deep in their defence. Schmidt with the ball in his hands. A slight pattering of rain coming down now. The wind still howling. The lights well and truly on here at KG5. It's a wintry old night, Monday night in Tasmania for this Lacquer Cup final. South Hobart, if you've just joined us, 2-0 to the good through goals from Hall and Lewis.
Foot here for the time being, a few throw-ins, but shutting them down pretty well. They go direct again. Billy G brings it down. He brought Vidal into the play nicely there, couldn't make anything of it, and now laid off well. Here's Hunt, chips one, almost playing through, man, but a good foot from the big stalk, just lifting one of those long legs and getting in the way. And it's really a repeat of the first half we're seeing at the moment. Everything being played down one flank, a lot of throw-ins. South Hobart, they'll be pretty happy just to take the pace out of this one with a 2-goal lead. They're in no hurry to get things moving. They're going to say, you do the attacking, come at us, and then we'll look to quickly flick the switch, get you going the other way if you overcommit. There's Pearce on the ball now. He'll go back to Hedge. He's immediately pressured by man. He felt him over his shoulder and went back to the big Dunkaroo. He launches long, and Lewis has read that well. Good anticipation. Darcy Hall gets in ahead of Galante and brilliantly keeps it in. Here's Darcy Hall now running at the big stalk. Plays the first time cross, and it was far too narrow. And the keeper had that one covered the whole way. A bit wasteful there from Hall. A brilliant run, though.
Throws for Galante. It's out from Galante to Cohen. He loses it. Back to the big stalk, Cuthbertson. A heavy touch from Palmer. Lets in Hall. He takes it gleefully. Darts away. In the end, Stork comes in to help out, and it's out for a goal kick. So a lucky escape there from Kingborough, but a heavy touch in midfield when they look to maybe be switching things up and getting an attack going. Saw them on the back foot. Duncan with the goal kick now.
So Duncan goes right down the guts. Dogger Brown flicked it, but backwards, and then Cohen was getting involved. Kemp just hacks it out of there, and it swings backwards and somehow finds Hunt. It's a pretty ugly old affair at the moment. The weather not helping things. Now charging forward is Kemp. It's a beautiful pass. Here's Man now running at the defence. This is brilliant from Man. Finds a way to Hunt. Advantage paid by the referee. Hunt wants to go onto his preferred left. Feeds it out to Hall. Back to Hunt. They're patient now. Just probing. Hunt now gets to the byline. Can he whip in across? He can. And it surely went behind for a corner, and indeed it has.
Out for a corner here. Another opportunity for South Hobart to maybe find that third goal. Pretty much put this game to bed. We said the first 10 minutes of the second half would be a very important point in time, and South Hobart have started the better side. And they can make the most of it here. We get the ground level shot from the corner. It's away through Cuthbertson. Bounces away from Kemp in midfield. Schmidt nudges down with a good nod. It's won by Watkins, and maybe he can dash away for Kimbra. Gets on the outside of Schmidt, and he's on the left. Can't beat him, though, with a ball. It's cut off by Schmidt with Gasparinados. In the end, he nips Gasparinados just a little bit too much, and it's a foul against the defender. A set piece for Kingborough just inside their attacking half.
Doing a pretty good job of just stopping any flow Kingborough have to their game here when they go forward, whether it's a foul or just clearing the ball. They're breaking up the play, not allowing him to have any sort of rhythm. The free kick's played in, and it's going to float harmlessly over the top of the bodies for a goal kick.
Oh, if I'm Robbins, I'm tearing my hair out there. A good long ball. It's difficult to get it over to the back post from the position it was there against that wind, and not a single Lions player in there attacking that back post. Gasparinados was hanging out at the top of the 18. As a coach, at this point in the game, you want your players throttling in there for to pull one back and get you back in this game.
Especially with the wind, you want to put the keeper under some pressure, put the doubt in his mind whether to go for the ball or not. Be a great avenue to goal, so got to get the bodies in the box. Can't waste such opportunities. They might not get too many. They've got a 2-goal deficit to chase as Cohen kept it in with his shoulder apparently, but doesn't matter there as he thumps it forward to no one in particular. Pearce rolls it along the deck, and South Hobart will start from the back again. Brown goes out to Schmidt, on to Hunt to turn. Good defence there from Pearce, getting a foot in. Allowing the wing commander to turn inside. That's a recipe for disaster.
It's gone pretty quiet here, Drewy, as South Hobart have this one well in control. 2-0 to the good, and they're looking to seal this bit of silverware. Lucky Cup final, and of course the FFA Cup spot to boot. Hall on the ball now. Galante's giving him acres of space to turn. Lewis supporting down the left, comes inside to man, then tries to slip Hall, just not on the same wavelength, and Galante clears away. Lions might look to break now. I think it's Vidal that you've got in.
Watkins plays it for Vidal. Vidal takes a touch. Thomas just got enough of it. Spills. Oh, Pearce with his feet denies him. Manic moment in attack, and eventually Kim Barker says it's a foul. The rain pouring down. It's all happening here at KG5. A good moment in attack. And I think Pearce in the end just with the foot save there. Put his legs in the right spot. It was a dangerous moment. Yeah, Billy G hitting the shot. Didn't get the elevation though. And the wind and the rain. A wicked combination here. There's some atrocious weather out there. Going to be very hard to play in for the lads out there.
A good chance for Kingborough. One they maybe should have taken, but good work by Pearce. The rain is absolutely teeming now as it comes from South Hobart's midfield to defence, and Pearce is there. Hasn't been tested too much, but everything he has been tested with, he's standing up well. Rolls out for Downs. It's back now to Brown. And to the right to Schmidt, is back for him. South Hobart a little lost for ideas out of getting out, but they get it out way too easily in the end of Lazinski. It comes to Hunt. He can't believe the space ahead of him. Runs away, plays out to the left to Hall. Hall fakes one way, slips inside of Galante from the byline, cuts it back. It streams by Hunt, comes to Lazinski, meets it with a shot. It's deflected out for a corner. South Hobart, delightful stuff. Just kept it on the deck. Took the wind out of the equation and moved it slickly. Darcy Hall, nice little cut back from the byline. Lazinski took it to his right, and in the end, decent recovery, and it's come off Palmer in the end. Could have easily been the arm.
Position, you reckon, David?
It probably was an unnatural position, but I must admit, in real time, I missed it, and there weren't a lot of protests from South Hobart as the ball comes in through Lazinski. It's out to Hall. Oh, he shanks it off the right. It's stolen from Thomas, who stayed up there after the set piece. Drops it off for Hall. Cuts inside of Hedge and fires a fizzing ball well wide to the right. Darcy Hall wide on that occasion, but he's loomed large this afternoon.
He really is. That little drop of the shoulder to set up the Lazinski chance before, just classy. He's had Galante's number all day, you've got to say, and really giving him some serious headaches at the moment, especially now that Kingborough have to push on and it might be able to isolate him a bit more.
Yeah, Hall has to be in the votes today. You'd think the way the game's going, he has given Galante a real bath out there at the moment in the right back. Galante's fought valiantly, but just hasn't been able to get a hold of Hall, who's gone past him time and time again. As Lions come into the middle again, they try to play through, but Lazinski's there to break down the attack.
Playing in a monsoon at the moment out there. And just keeping it tight to the lines. Hobart, they're fine if the game stays like this. Tight, scrappy affair by the flanks. They throw it to Lazinski. Been good with his hold-up work today. He's hustled and bustled. And that's a good direct ball over the top now to Billy G. Can he bring someone into play? Turned inside, maybe should have gone out. Shapes to shoot. And harmlessly wide. Fair play trying to take it on himself, but maybe, just maybe, there were better options there. Billy G, you don't mind the number 9 trying to make something happen, but a bit of a low percentage play for mine.
I reckon Kingborough have to make something happen pretty soon. They haven't got a goal in the first 60 minutes of this contest. If they're going to get 2, I think they need to get the first one in rapid time, because South Hobart will happily just sit on a 1-0 lead as it comes out. It's unconvincing from Downs and asks a bit of Pearce. He does enough to see it out.
Well, yeah, Downs overhit the ball back, but I think he was expecting a slightly kinder ball from Pearce. That was just a big mess up between the two there. Not particularly good, trying to play the short game out from the back. And the conditions not making that easy, but here's a good chance. Billy G's just going to heave this one, Rory Delap style, into the box. So I've got no doubt about that. He's got the wind at his back, and he's got a booming throw normally. So here he goes direct. And Oscar Thomas again getting a foot in. He's been very good today again, impressed on the weekend, and he's just stopped just about everything back there today. Is Kingborough, oh dear, almost caught on the ball was Galante. He then shifts in. Oh, that
not
was
the time for fancy stuff, Drew.
Jack Turner was there to cover, but that was not the time or space to be rolling the step-overs there. Galante, he's had a tough day as it is. He's just adding to his problems by trying stuff like that.
Galante just needs to check himself before he wrecks himself. That was a shocking bit of work. I wonder if we could see a replay. Ash Wilkes just working away there. No, he's giving me the shake of the head. Even he doesn't want to see it again. As it comes down the left-hand side from the byline, Kingborough will try and get something going. In the end, they win a corner well. The wind really coming here. We're seeing the light poles flick around. It's casting a interesting shadow on the pitch.
It's a really eerie effect on the pitch there as the light poles sort of sway with the wind, and the Lions will try to whip this one in. South Hobart have been susceptible to conceding at set pieces. There's a little bit going on down in the 18-yard box. Gasparinados is not happy. Daniel Brown now has a bit to say as well. Gasparinados is trying to let Kim Barker know that someone needs to be spoken to. Lazinski getting called into it. Pearce as well. Braden Mann having a bit to say to Gasparinados now. It's handbags, 12 paces, Gilly. Don't we love it? A lot of passion in this game. Lions need to put something on the board. While we have this break in play, Gilly, I'm going to get you to turn to the team sheet. And if you're Robbins, who changes the game for you off the bench here? Davis on the bench, you've got Hinkley on the bench, Lingme, of course, keeper, and Joel Scott. Who do you go to? Who's your X factor? Is it Scott?
It has to be Scott. He's the only one that's a real X factor player amongst that group. A couple of decent role players, but he's the one that can bring this game to life, I think, if he's on. The wind takes a hold of this corner, and it rockets onto the hill. Never really stood a chance to do anything from that, Kingborough. That's a learning experience if I've ever seen one. Next time won't be hit quite as hard from the boot of Vidal. Goal kick now.
For all that build-up, really amounted to nothing. A bit of push and shove in the box. The ball never gave any of the players in there a chance. So South Hobart getting pinned back a little bit here. The wind absolutely howling. The rain coming down. It's going to be very tough for them, South. Absolutely advantage Kingborough, but it might even be too strong for them to even control the ball properly. I don't think this is helping anyone, as Pearce will just take his time. He's in absolutely no rush to get this restarted. They've got no reason to. They've got a 2-goal lead in the statewide cup final here. FFA Cup spot on the line. Pearce launches it looking. It goes over Hunt's head though. Lazinski somehow brought it down. Good control, and his pass almost kept in for man. And in the end, they're going to win the throw, are they? Yes. So that's worked out well for them. Canberra players a little bit miffed at that. Is it Schmidt gets up to take it. Goes in short for Mann. Schmidt back to Mann. Good foot in there, and now it might break. Oh, Thomason get it. Here's a chance for Danny Cowan. Agonisingly wide. He just sprayed it. Didn't make the best contact. Pearce was not getting to it.
Pearce
what a moment.
A lead that looked fairly confident to begin with, but then he looked back just to go, oh, I hope not. As we see it again, Cowan probably should have done better with the effort.
Yeah, Gilly, they're not going to get a lot of chances like that, and they need Cowan to bury that. They've had a couple of chances, Gilly, there's no doubt about that, but they won't get a lot more. They need to capitalise when they get them and get straight back into this match, because at 2-0, South Hobart still sitting pretty with just 27 minutes to play.
We might just cross down to Jacob Batt. Of course, the weather's got ferocious here. I more or less just want to see how he's coping. I reckon it might be funny as.
Yeah, so it's picked up down here. It's now raining, drizzling in fact, and the weather is just crazy. The gust is blowing to the right of screen quite strongly now as well. Danny Cowan, what an opportunity there to peg one back there. And with this weather, it's going to be difficult for both teams, really. Obviously, Kimber's got the breeze, so it's a little bit better for them. Cheers. Back to you, boys.
Beautiful insight from Jacob Batt there as play goes on from the corner and it spills out again for another one.
Everywhere, Gilly. That is remarkable. That ball changed directions about 3 times in its flight then.
Well, that's pretty well what Batt spoke to just then down on the boundary, Drewster. Pretty well saying that now it's swirling in a way that maybe it affects both sides. This comes to Kemp, I think it is. He looks to run with it. It's stolen from the Canberra defence. It holds up with a bit of help from the wind. Turner just turns it. Look at that. The wind just blows it forward. So it's definitely blowing Canberra's way, but it is quite swirly. Thomas plays back with confidence to Pearce. It holds up in the air as one down from Hall. Lazinski tries to win it. It's one away by Hedge for Palmer. And now Galante measures a ball out for Cowan. Asks a bit of him. Lewis just skips by him. Can't beat Galante though with a sliding effort. In for Palmer. Comes to Turner. He finds Watkins. What can he do? Tries to dink inside and find Vidal. It's cut off well by Schmidt. Back now through Pearce. He marauds forward. An opportunity for South Hobart if they can get it through. Cuthbertson cuts off into the bullseye. To Palmer. Bobbles off his boot. Cuthbertson another crack at it. It's got Lazinski there. Does well with a sliding effort to Hall. Looks back to his defence. Nudges centrally. And they collide. Gasparinatos wins the ball with an outstretched boot. Turner nudges to Watkins. Back to Pearce. Vidal turns. Beats Schmidt. But Brown comes across well to cut it off and put it out of play.
Can the Lions find something here? They need a goal and they need one soon. Here's Pearce surging forward. Overlapping run for Vidal. Can he pick someone out? No, he didn't get enough on it. They'll just be blasted out there by Downs. Safety first. It stays in though. And Kingborough can reload here. In the circle, the big stalk charging forward. He's starting to get into more and more advanced positions. That's a pretty good ball, but it was just overshot looking for Cowan.
Paskey, a change for Kingborough on the card.
Yeah, we've got Joey Davis coming on, and it'll be Pearce that'll make way. So perhaps a bit of an attacking move. I think it looks like Vidal might slot back into left back, and I think we'll see Joe Davis. Palmer to fullback, the Ville Palmer into left back, and Davis into the middle of the park to provide a little bit of extra run. But I'll tell you what, Lions are going to need to press a bit higher, put that pressure on. They're creating chances. They're going to find another few, I think, Drew. It'll come down to whether they can hold out South Hobart down the other end and whether they can take those viral chances. Lewis turns on the ball now, tries to find the feet of Lazinski. Galante well protected. Plays inside now to Turner. Turner looks to open up, only as far as Schmidt, who goes long and strong. Hall putting some pressure on Hedge here. Hedge heads back and finds Mann. Hunt just settles now. Lazinski tries to find the feet of Hall. Does so. One-on-one with Hedge. Well played by the Lions defender, and it'll be out for a goal kick.
Very difficult to come to a complete stop like that there with the slippery pitch. It will be soaked down there. There'll be people sliding about everywhere. It's getting very late now. 68 minutes, still Kingborough can't find a goal. They've had a couple of good chances. Cohen probably should have scored. Billy G was denied by Pearce. Far from that, they really found anything. So they are going to need to take the chances because they're just not creating enough.
Boys, I don't think I've seen weather like this, especially with football being played. I'm pretty happy I'm sitting where I am, not out on the pitch as it slipped through, looking for Gasparinados. Pearce just watches it over his byline and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, for those not in Tasmania, it was severe weather warnings across the state today and getting worse this afternoon and into the night. The State Emergency Service no doubt will be getting a few calls tonight with roofs off and the like, but players still safe and sound out in the pitch, but horrendous conditions for them to have to operate in. In fact, just getting the ball to sit still here proving difficult for Pearce. And that's what he's saying. He's saying, I can't get the ball to sit. He's trying to push it into the. Gasparinados is saying, I'll go and hold it for him if he wants me to. And Lions fans are getting a little bit upset about this as well.
This is some sharp work from Pearce.
And the ball is rolling again.
Milking this for all it's worth.
Kim Barker
waiting for another gust in there and he plays it.
Kim Barker did stop the watch, so South Hobart play out again now. Lewis strides forward. Looks to try to find Hall. Lazinski nips it off the feet of Galante. No, well done from the right back from Kingborough there. Oh, solid work from Downs. Hall will look to stride past Galante again, and he does so. He'll beat Hedge as well. No, he won't. The wily, big old veteran in the centre of defence for Lions plays it out for a goal, for a corner kick. He picks himself up gingerly off the deck. The walking wounded is Hedge. We're going to see Lazinski come off, and we maybe see Hugh Undy slot into the middle of the park here, Drewy, just to shore up the middle of midfield. Let's say that with Lazinski done and dusted. He hasn't scored today, but put in a power of work, didn't he?
Yeah, good performance from his first start in quite a while, so he's done well to get through 7 minutes. Also on a yellow card and quite a few meaty challenges flying in, so perhaps a bit precautionary as the corner was a difficult one. Duncan couldn't grasp it. They're still under pressure here. South Hobart probing. Patiently chips one for the back post. Duncan spills it! Almost onto Brown, who I reckon if he wasn't on a yellow might have had a whack at that, but showed some restraint as it was. Now they launch it long, but Billy G's never getting that. It's just been picked up by the wind and gone the length, but handling proving difficult for the goalies in these windy and now completely wet and slippery conditions. Really not a day you'd want to be a goalkeeper out there. And Pearce, again, just taking as much time as he can to get proceedings started again. He knows all the tricks in the book, and he sits this one up, and it comes back, and Lewis thought it was probably going to go over his head for a moment. In the end, plays it 5 yards in field. He goes back to Thomas. Now Pearce will launch this one long. It swirls on the breeze and somehow picks out man and brought it down with a silky touch. And now a through ball for Hunt. Oh, but Palmer beat him for pace and then goes down, felt the contact. That's experience there. Just waited for the contact, then hit the deck. Very nicely done from Palmer. But how was the first touch of Braden Mann there?
Yeah, that was crisp stuff from Mann and really ignited that attack. Good work from Palmer in the finish. Hedge just gives it up in defence. It comes to Hall. He wiggles one way, goes the other, falls for Hunt. It's a tame effort. And in the end, they scurry out of clearance. Almost a howler from Hedge. Unforgivable stuff. Just gifts it to him. And in the end, maybe fortunate, they weren't made to pay.
Didn't hit it with any real conviction there, Hunt, did he? It was a bit of a soft effort. Probably should have just drilled the laces through it, put it across the keeper. Not to be. Still 2-0 though. A third goal would certainly kill this contest off. Oh, Duncan, he's had a nightmare there. He's goffed it straight up. Didn't result in anything too dangerous, but South Hobart have the ball. Lewis plays a first-time cross into a dangerous area, and a thumping header onto the post, and fires up, and surely seals victory for South Hobart. Braden Mann, 3-0. That's all she wrote, I reckon.
Game over. Game over. What a knock from Matt Lewis, and what a header from Braden. Man, it just cannons into that crossbar. Little Duncan could do, really. And the follow-up, well, he maybe could have done something there, but geez, he hit that one, and Braden Mann goes off and celebrates. And South Hobart, you got to think, are through to the round of 32 of the FFA Cup. You'd think they're back-to-back champions from here. Beautiful delivery from Lewis. For me, he's been one of the standouts in this afternoon's contest.
Absolutely outstanding. Just put it to the dangerous area, and with this wind, we've harped on about it all day. Things happen if you can get it to the top of the 6-yard box. That one just curled back. It bounced unpredictably. Man, with a thumping header, followed up his own work quite nicely, but that once again all stemmed from poor and unnecessary turnovers from the back. They've done it all day, Kingborough. The press of South Hobart has just forced them into these errors, and it's come back to bite them there, and that is surely the Lacka Seljuk Cup decided for this year, lads. They're going to push on anyway and try and find something. Ooh, fierce coming together there. Palmer, a few heads starting to drop, and the crowd has gone deathly silent here at KG5. They were vocal early, but 3-0, surely knowing that's too much. It'll take something truly spectacular and quite a meltdown from South Hobart to lose from here as Hunt gets on the ball. He's tracking back. He shifts it out, and that might just stay in on the breeze. Well, it slides off the slippery pitch, and even the magician Darcy Hall, who's done just about everything right today, couldn't keep that one in. So Galante had a difficult day. Absolutely had a handful. Goes back. And Hedge plays it forward. Found Vidal. But Lewis sees it out, and Lewis again, not neglecting his defensive duties. Best work's been done offensively today, which is not something you'd say too often about Matt Lewis.
A goal and an assist, Drury. It's been a day out for Matt Lewis.
Oh, and what a day to pick to break out offensively. Cup final, if you don't mind.
We said in the opening, Drury, that if Lions were ever going to beat South Hobart in the cup final, today would be the day, and South Hobart have stood up as they stride forward here. Hunt on the ball, he's got all the pace. Duncan comes out and makes a good save at the feet of Hunt. But Undy is there. Duncan scrambling, goes back to Hall. He'll drive into the back of Galante, I think it was. And Davis tries to send Lions into attack. Brown with a good lunging challenge to stop it. Lewis comes in, and Vidal, I think it is, that heads out. If they were ever going to beat South in a final, today was probably it, Gilly. And South with some big outs, including Ludford at the back. And Hamlet up top. They've been struck by injuries, and they've managed to get the job done here, Gilly.
They have, and in convincing fashion, mind you. Lewis came in under an injury cloud. Maybe he should have a swollen ankle every day before every game. As it comes through from Mann, he just robs it from Hedge, plays into the centre. Kobe Kemp with a heavy touch, and Duncan collects, races out and slides to grab it. Hedge's day's probably done here. Looks into a bit of strife after that vicious meeting of bodies, him and Mann.
He's done. I think the Lions are too, Damo. They have lost all semblance of structure at the back. They are being sliced apart here now. They're throwing everyone forward, but it's just a mess. And South Hobart, you fully expect them to score a fourth the way this is going at the moment. That's a cross that just curls back on the breeze. You can start them at the byline. They come back into the perfect position, and South have just utilised that well. Watkins, well, getting in ahead of him there was Oscar Thomas, and he's charging forward. It's Dan Brown even. Well, didn't expect to see him surging forward, but he's done that, and he's drawn a free kick in a good area. There you go, Dogger Brown.
Lovely little Fosbury flop there from Daniel Brown. He just played for it nicely. Found himself in unfamiliar territory, or certainly in recent years. He did spend a couple of years playing up top, but Brown just striding forward, and Hunt tried to find him, and he went down under the challenge. Pretty gratefully, I've got to say. I don't think he was expecting to do too much with that. And South Hobart with another opportunity just to slow the game down and potentially score a fourth.
Look who's standing over it too. There's no man this time. Your man, Paskey Downs. He's got Hunt for company this time. Maybe the left footer might fancy it, but surely Downs is going to go, look, you've been stealing off me all day. Let me have this one.
I think he'll give this one to Hunt. No, Downs into the wall. Hunt goes past, I think it's Turner again. Shakes one way, shakes the other. Looks to play it all the way back to Schmidt. Schmidt will come in board to Kemp. Kemp on the ball now, strides forward. Now Lions break. Can they make something here? Oh, Thomas is there to make a good challenge for them. Nice touch from Gasparinados.
Watkins
Comes back
goes
into
to
Turner. Oh, lovely touch from Gasparinados again. He's been good for Lions today. Oh, the ball just runs away, I think, from Davis there, and he can't get in to tap that one past Pearce, and Pearce grabs it gratefully.
So they've shifted out his man with that silky touch that he exhibits, and now he's off to the races. Vidal tracked back very well there, some good work, although they've turned it over, and again, Hedge, a poor pass there, turned it over from the back man. He's got 3 to beat, he fancies himself, and they've dragged it back now, have they? So well,
Pulled it back for the foul, Drewster.
I was backing Braden to go on a scything run here, but we'll go back for the off the ball work there, clear foul. Another chance to swing one in. South really could just rub it in with a 4th. This game is absolutely settled.
I think we have Adam Hinkley warming up down there. Be interesting to see who he replaces, but you'd think all's just about lost now for Kingborough. Played short, comes for Hall. He's got time and space. Has a shot, but the wind just swirls around and takes it well wide to the right. So Hinkley looks to be coming on, and one would think Hedge probably comes off. Either battling a bit of cramp, or I'm not sure what the injury. But off comes Hedge. The big hedgehog slice. He's battled hard back there today, but it's been a really tough afternoon. South Hobart have been up in his face with a pretty dynamic front 4 almost from South Hobart. Pump long from Dunkaroo into the bullseye. It's won by Downs. It goes high in the air, almost comes back to him. It's won by Davis in the end. Tries to find Gasparinados. It's out for Palmer. He puts it out in front of Cohen, but again the line beats him. Nothing going the line's way at the minute.
Nah, they look pretty done. They're toiling on, but I think they know this one's escaped. They came here with such high hopes, but South Hobart.
Yeah, so it looks like the game's certainly taking its toll on a lot of the players. That was Adam Hedge coming off. It seems like he's got cramp in both legs by the looks of it. It seems like he signalled that to the bench, and obviously they took him off. With only 10 minutes to go, they might need Mark Broadbent's magic wand or something to get them out of this one. After you, boys.
Thanks, Jacob. Just wondering whether Colin Roberts can borrow the magic wand off Mark Broadbent, which he mentioned in a previous post-game interview. Some sharp stuff again there. Lewis almost scores at both ends, but it comes off the outside of his boot, and Kane Pearce can collect. Plays short for Oscar Thomas, who's just looked pretty calm back there in central defence alongside Brown, a youngster of supreme talent. Played forward from Kemp. Turned on by Mann. It's there for Undy. He latches onto it and finishes off. Game over well and truly. Cherry on top from Hugh Undy. Lovely bit of work. They pile on South Hobart. Celebrate this one. A good day at the office. Well turned on from Braden Mann. He's been good. Undy just good body work and then latched onto it and finished it off. Not a lot Duncan could do there. Kingborough well and truly gone in this contest.
Delightful ball that from Mann, perfectly weighted, and on a day that has been so hard to weight passes, he's done it beautifully, and we'll cross the sidelines once again.
Yeah, great finish there by Hugh Undy. Look, 4-0 now. It's obviously in the bag. The FFA Cup for South Hobart, I would say. Be interesting to see if Ken looks to bring in any other players, perhaps for interstate, for the round of 32 tie. Back to you, boys.
A little bit of input down there, Jacob Batt, maybe just getting up to try and get warm. Loving his work nonetheless. Down the left channel it goes. Hinkley freshly introduced, his first real involvement there for Galante. Dashes away, plays forward looking for David. It's a bit of a shocker off his boot and out of play for a throw-in.
Bit of blood in the water, I think South Hobart sensing here. They're absolutely going for a 5th. They're still pressing as hard as they were in the first 5 minutes of the game.
No reason not to, really, Drewy, because Kingborough are going to chase the game as it comes to Vidal. And Kemp just comes in and goes, "This is mine, boys," and ships it up the park. No-nonsense approach. Big Kobe Kemp. Throwing now for Galante. Down the line, it eludes Turner, and it's out through Lewis. So, South Hobart, a very, very good day at the office. 4-0 at the moment. Could be more. they're going to win this one comfortably. And it'll be on to the FFA Cup. Comes down the line and it's out of play.
Doesn't look like South have got anyone warming up, so it looks like they've put the queue in the rack and they won't make any further changes. They don't need to waste a great deal of time. The end here, knowing that they're comfortably 4 goals ahead. I thought we might have seen Joe Stevens appear. And Gilly, I'm going to ask you a question you might not know the answer to. If Brown got sent off here, if he did get a late yellow and got a red card, what does that do for his FFA Cup game?
You'd be right, because you just serve, well, from my understanding, you serve your suspension in the coming games. So he'd serve it in Victory League before we get round to August when the round of 32 begins. That's my understanding. I'm quite often wrong, so who knows. But, yeah, that's my understanding. His yellow card that he's already got today, I think he's going to miss on Saturday anyway.
The fountain of wisdom, Damien Gill, has spoken, Truey. So that was the only question. Was there a need perhaps to bring Brown off potentially to save him from missing that game? But if he's going to miss a game next week anyway, then you leave him on, don't you? South Hobart, with just 6 minutes to play, they can enjoy the final 6 minutes, Drury, knowing they've got this cup in the bag and their place booked in the FFA Cup final round of 32.
Yeah, we all know how it was a great night, the FFA Cup last year. Obviously, not the result they would have wanted, but they'll be very happy to be back there, and I'd imagine they'll be celebrating long and hard into the night with this one as Kingborough pressing on for a late consolation goal. But there's no doubt they've deserved the 4-goal lead. They've been the better team from start to finish. They've utterly outplayed Kingborough. And they've again, that's now even Jack Turner's making errors. Darcy Hall has dipped in behind for the cherry on top. Duncan at full stretch denies him. A great save. He's had a tough day back there, and again, fuming his defence, rightfully so. Not for the first time, they were cut apart. And Darcy Hall went near post, and that is a great save because he's off balance. You don't expect him to go near post there. Brilliant work, Duncan.
Not sure what old Tina Turner was doing on this right-hand flank, but he just gifted the ball straight to South Hobart. Darcy Hall could have almost capped off a very good afternoon. He's had Galante and all sorts from start to finish. Ball comes across now, bounces away. A lot's been talked about, boys, in terms of the huge turnover at South Hobart. A lot of change, a lot of people thinking maybe they're on the nose a little bit this year and they're very catchable. I think what we're seeing today is a bit of a statement with regard to that. There's a lot of young players throughout that group and they've risen on the big stage.
Yeah, but that's all well and good, and they'll be ecstatic to win this bit of silverware and go into the FFA Cup. But let's not forget, Olympia sit 4 points top in the Victory League proper, so it hasn't all gone South's way, and still some questions around this squad and their depth. They've certainly answered some of those today. The next step will be, can they compete at the FFA Cup level? And I think Ken Morton, following this game, will still seek to do a little bit of squad renovation, if we want to put it that way. Bit of Reno Rumble in the South Hobart squad for the next couple of months. I still expect him to go out and recruit.
100% agree. 100% agree. But I think if you're South Hobart, and on Friday I say to you, you're going to come out of the weekend with a point against Olympia and a Lacka Seljet Cup, you take that. You rub your hands together and say, I take that.
Yeah, I grab that with both hands. Just wrap the old fist around, and I don't let that go, Gilly. Absolutely, I think they'll be stoked with the results from this weekend. But as I say, it hasn't all gone their way this season. Thankfully for Ken Morton's men today, it's been all one-way traffic.
Tell you what, they have also found a couple of handy young players in Oscar Thomas and Darcy Hall this weekend. Those two have just put in back-to-back stellar performances. They've been outstanding twice in a row, and that's an ominous sign for the rest of the competition. These guys were depth guys at the start of the year. Now they're looking like they could be prime movers. Yeah,
Darcy Hall's one of those players that we've seen sort of blooded over a number of years. He's been given chances, and it looked like he may have dropped off a little bit. His form wasn't there, and he was given a chance maybe through the fact that they didn't have their number one charges on the pitch this weekend. But, geez, he's taken it with both hands. He's been exceptional, and I think with Ben Hamlet breaking that ankle, he's been a really good inclusion, and we're about to see Chris Hunt come off. The wing commander comes up, and on comes Alfred Hess, the Cluedo character himself. If that isn't a Cluedo name, I say it every time, but it's so true. Alfred Hess in the ballroom with a candlestick. Definitely. Throwing now for Gasparinados. He's probably been the pick of the lines for mine. So he throws long down the line. Cohen just bundles into his marker, who was Dan Brown, and it spills over the back. Swept across by Pearce. It's there for Schmidt. Hasn't had too many troubles on that far side. Puts it into the centre for Kemp. There for Mann. Nudges it ahead, looking for Hall. Different wavelengths. It's there for Galante. Maybe Lewis comes in, blocks it. And it's back for Hinkley. Sold into a bit of trouble. Dunkaroo just gets it up the park in the bullseye. Downs with a heavy chest. There for Schmidt. Oh, it's cut off from Palmer for an instant. And then Cuthbertson gets involved. Out in front of Cohen. Races away from him and out of play.
It's not been a repeat of what we saw a few weeks ago in the Victoria League, that's for sure. That day, I think South Hobart are a little bit shell-shocked by what the Lions brought to them. They were fully prepared today. They knew what to do. They had the game plan. They've pressed them. They've done it brilliantly. They've outclassed them all day. There was no surprise to be sprung today.
Yeah, I ask you here, Drew, how much is that down to the players, and how much is it down to the coaching staff? Is it Ken Morton that's prepared his men that way, or is it the players and perhaps some of the more senior players in the group, like a Brown, like a Mann, that's gotten the players up and managed to make the difference?
I do wonder if in that league game they maybe just took them a little bit lightly. Kingborough hadn't shown a heap in the league, as there's another attack going here that day, and I don't think they were fully prepared to expect the onslaught they copped from the likes of Watkins, the likes of Vidal. They were so influential. Today, they've been completely nullified. The midfield has won the battle quite comprehensively. Kemp and Downs have absolutely taken Lazinski moves on. They've taken the chocolates in that regard. That wasn't the case 3 weeks ago in the Victory League. It was all one-way traffic until, of course, Turner got sent off. Then things changed a little bit, but it's been just a complete reverse of that fixture.
Just seconds to play of normal time in this cup final, Gilly, and they'll take all the Lacquer Cup chocolates, collect their silverware, enjoy that tonight, and then they'll look forward to the evening where the round of 32 games will be drawn to see whether they draw home or away, and whether they pick up one of those big scalps in one of the A-League sides that'll enter at the round of 32 stage.
4 additional minutes here, boys, so a little bit more party time for South Hobart. It's not going to have a huge say in what goes on. Duncan tries his luck. I'm guessing that was a fairly speculative shot. I'm going to put it down to. Paskey in the matchday program today, wonderfully put together by myself. There was a little article with Matt Lewis, who he's done well to perform well on the big stage, given I pretty much had a feature article on him. He pretty well spoke about the burning desire for South Hobart to get back to that FFA Cup stage and redeem the loss to Tuggeranong. He said the whole thing was a buzz last year from, going, they had a thing at the kit room, they sat there, watched the draw, there was so much excitement around it, media coverage, and I'm expecting to see much the same off the back of this, and I think South Hobart would be really happy to get that opportunity, because I think, as he said, it still stings them. That loss to Tuggeranong is one. They were very well-priced favourites with the bookies. They probably should have got the job done. They didn't, and they want to go and atone for that.
Oh, and mix up at the back almost lets in all there. But yeah, so the whole of Tasmanian football was a buzz with the FFA Cup. I think it's been a great innovation, a great competition, and hopefully it can continue and really solidify its spot as a big tournament in Australian football. Because it's just a great idea, and wouldn't it be great if we had an A-League side coming down to KG5 for a game? Wouldn't that be something?
And it'd be a real turn up for the books, and it's certainly not just in football, Drury, but in Australian sports now. I think it's very quickly become one of those tournaments that is on the media agenda and on the in the sporting psyche, I would suggest, of the Australian sporting fraternity. So a player down for Kingborough right now. I think it's Vidal maybe, who's just gone down holding his foot as Galante tries to play on. He'll get back up just gingerly and look to play out this final 2 minutes. Really just is a waiting game now until party time for South Hobart. They'll have the champagne on ice, and the Premier's tops and hats ready, Drewy, to throw on and celebrate what is a massive, massive win for them.
Yeah, so it seems to be a bit more
try and
cramped
find
there
a fifth
possibly
year
there
just to
for
give the
Vidal.
headline rise, that 5-star South Hobart thing. As we're going to cross the
still
sidelines
waiting
one
here.
final time.
It's only a minute and a half to go. It's going to be a South victory. It's going to be a roar from the crowd. Unfortunately for Kingborough, they couldn't get over the line. 4-0 probably isn't a fair reflection of the game. They certainly had their chances. A couple in the first half against the Breeze and certainly a few in the second half, especially Danny Cowans. All right, thanks, guys. Back to you.
Lingy down there, just feeling a bit lonely, I think, wanted to be involved. Love your work. Love your work, mate. The throw in now, South Hobart. We tick into the final minute of this game. A comprehensive win from South Hobart, 4-0 to the good at this point. Maybe a late one just to put the cherry on top. Watkins wins there for Palmer.
Been quiet today, Watkins, hasn't he? They've really nullified him. We identify him as a key mover. He had one real blistering moment in the first half, but I can't recall many occasions where he's been able to run at the defence at all. He's been well shut out of the game, and if you can shut him out, you can shut Maddow out. That is such a big part of their goal-scoring threat, and South Hobart have just controlled this contest all day.
Drewy, I think midfield's a spot maybe we thought Kingborough could take an advantage, but they've been absolutely bossed there, and I think
Smashed.
a lot of that comes down to the formation that Ken Morton's played as well. I think he's coached it really well today. I think they've been up in their grill from the very get-go, and Kingborough haven't really coped with that.
I think you've got to put a lot on Kemp and Downs, and that's the final whistle. South Hobart, 2015 Lacka Seljack Cup champions. They celebrate not only a bit of silverware for 2015, but entrance into the round of 32 FFA Cup. Gilly, a huge win for them. You can see how much it means to the players. The Lions players also spent hands on heads and hips as they rue missed chances and what could have been. South Hobart 4-0 winners over Kingborough Lions in the Lacka Seljack Cup final.
It was a tough one to pick. It could have gone either way, and we thought maybe the conditions suited Kingborough. It didn't pan out that way. Very comfortable victors in the end, South Hobart. A comprehensive display, and now they just watch and wait for the draw to be done, and the excitement builds, and who knows, we might have an FFA Cup game here in Tasmania.
Well, we certainly hope so. We'll be fingers crossed that we get the home game there. But tonight is all about the Lacka Seljack Cup victory for South Hobart. A dominant display from start to finish. They've been outstanding as we cross down to the sidelines for some interviews. Sorry about that, a few technical difficulties here, the wild weather just playing up. We'll let you know if we can get back to that. Doesn't seem likely. We'll head down to the presentation here in a second, where South Hobart are a very happy looking bunch out there. He will be presented the trophy, and I think they'll be, well, they probably won't mind. Quite fittingly, the rain's now stopped, the game's over. Probably would have been keen to get off earlier, but what a performance from South Hobart. A few weeks ago, plenty of questions being asked. Kingborough had them on the run. They were smashed by Devonport just 2 weeks ago, and it was a little bit of doom and gloom. A rare thing for South Hobart, but they have responded in the most convincing of fashion. They were good against Olympia on the weekend, and they've been brilliant today. Fully deserved their victory.
Truly a massive win for South Hobart. We look forward to the draw. Thanks so much for joining us wherever you are in Australia, in fact across the world. Big thanks, of course, also to Ash, producer of this fine broadcast.
Best in the business.
Best in the business. We always say it. It's been a rough and rugged day down in Tasmania. South Hobart, as they have in so many times in years gone past, take all the chocolates and they progress to the final round 32 FFA Cup and are also Lacka Seljack Cup winners. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Bye for now.
You didn't do anything, Mark. Turn around this way, boys! Come on! Fantastic. Yeah, we'll do it on that one. Us, probably do it on that one. Which one do you want to do it? Right. Did you get any of that up there? I just threw that round there. Watch the cord there, watch the cord, watch the cord. Watch the cord.
Walter might have it.
Hammers, double hammers. I don't want to get champagne all over me. The one time I don't. Yeah. Jesus. Thursday at Queenborough at 6 o'clock. Okay, so have a couple of days to go back. So lads that haven't played much, they can come Wednesday night at 5. Yeah, no problem. Well done. Well done, everybody. Come in, Ben. Well, I sort of get covered in that. Yeah, I'm going.
Quick, look out, John. They're going to spray you. Quick.
Not the camera. Get me out of that. No, Albie's got it. Forget it. wanted to be in that final, and I think it's on a good performance given the current conditions. We've been written off once or twice this year already. It's a long season. We've done well to stay in the cup. I think it's been it was a battle for us, but we keep improving weekly. We had a hiccup, and to bounce back is a good sign of a good team. So we're still in everything at the moment. Second in the league in the FFA Cup. So we're okay, especially with the young players that we have. We have a very young side. But wasn't Kelby Kemp who mentioned in the middle of the park tonight for a 16-year-old?
Kenny, how important was that game a couple of weeks ago? The Lions almost challenged you 3-2 and get the chances off. How important was that for you to be able to say to the players that we're in a real game here in this one?
I think it helps. We maybe thought we had a little bit more control than what they give us credit for in that game. Even with the 11 players in the park, so I think we were pressing quite well, and we thought we had the game in the bag. I think we had enough to go and get the game, so we did okay. So, but it gives you a bit of pride, a bit of belief. We know Jack Turner's a good player, he's a strong player. We played Aldi around him in the first half, and then we put young Kelby on him, fresh legs on, and we did the trick for him.
A couple of experienced players out, Ludford probably the number one.
Yeah.
What did you say to Kemp? Considering the downs in the middle, both really young players, and you've already said that Kemp stood up for you. What message went to them before the game started?
Well, the main message is to keep it simple. The conditions dictate to you, and if you try to be too fancy and play too special balls, too many special balls, you'll get hurt. So the main aim for us was to try and keep it simple, to try and exploit them down their right-hand side, and we got good rewards for our attacking endeavours.
Like Seljack Cup, you said it's important. That aside now, FFA Cup, how important is it for you, for the club, to be part of the national competitions year in, year out?
We've had 7 good years, and sometimes you expected that to fall over. But currently we're going well. We're working hard in the club to develop our young players. Those young players are coming through as well, and if we keep producing good players, we want to be on that national stage, because we don't want to keep our youngsters. We want them to move on like Andy Brennan to bigger and better things, and being Scotty Green Bully. So all the guys that moved from us last year are all playing in Premier League and A-League, so it's a massive, massive for this football club. And that's the stage. Once you're there, the clubs are looking all the time at your play.
Do you think one of the reasons you got over the line tonight was you handled the conditions a lot better than Kira?
Yeah. No doubt. We were the best football on the side all night, and maybe Braden was our lucky captain because he won the toss and picked the right way in the first half. So, maybe we had a little bit of luck there, but we took advantage of that. I didn't think 2-0 was going to be enough. Thought we had to score again, but when the third one went in, I think no question how old, I'll pick you. I don't know.
Yeah, got a great one. Alright. Yeah, he's coming up in a sec. Did you have sound problems then or not?
Send me down here, so stick it to somebody first. I don't know, something. You just send me down here. Maybe the sound.
Ash, what was the sound quality like on that interview? Okay, copy that. She's got the mic here. I'll give her to put in their face when they're talking. It wasn't very good. You've got to really stick that. Yeah, I know. The next one we've got to sort of stick it in their face a little bit. Sound's not coming through. I've got to use this mic here, so not good enough anyway. The trouble is the rain and that's coming over. It's a bit more sheltered there. We're having trouble with the sound because of the wind. Yeah, I had a high shot. Not ideal. We'll go this way if we can. All right, you want to go this way then? Yeah, we will. Looks better. This is a cedar thing. I've got the sound in. Oh, no, you wouldn't realise it. Here he comes. Right, just hold the mic up there. Get in there. Just hold the mic there. Can you get closer? Alright, got a shadow on the face. Oh, yep, we're right. Right, go.
And look, I mean, the guys have learned a lot out of that game, I think. Just being in the final, making the last two. We did all the right things for the game, trying conditions, but all credit to South for the way they played. Oh, look, we felt that way. We were very confident that we could win the game. And look, we'll bounce back. We have them in 3 weeks' time, so we're looking to bounce back in that game.
Did you take a chance there, Cole? Is that what you're going to down to?
Oh, look, not really. I think our passing was poor tonight. We couldn't string 2 or 3 passes together. When we did win the ball, we lost it straight away. Not from their pressure, but just our poor accuracy with our passing. Yeah, so look, in these conditions, you have to be accurate with your passing. If you lose the ball, you're going to pay. They caught us on the hop a few times, put their chances away, and look, yeah, credit goes to them for their win. Yeah, studs in the knee. So not real happy about that incident, but look, we move on. That's part of the game. Ref sees it one way, we see it differently. We'll get that assessed recovery tomorrow night.
Are you comfortable with the yellow?
No, not really.
Colin, do you think some of your players were probably a bit taken back by the big stage early?
Oh, look, we talked about that in our team meeting this morning and prepared them the best we could prepare. Look, they're an inexperienced group. How an individual, when they cross that white line, deals with that, deals with the situation, deals with going, I don't think I'm nervous 2 goals down. We know we can come back from that, and we were positive in the change rooms at half time. But I think that 3rd goal probably killed the spirits a little bit. I think that 3rd goal probably killed combination of those things probably got them down a little bit, how they deal with that. We'll take a lot out of this game.
Not a great result, but the crowd turned out in force. You're really happy with the support.
Oh, look, the club 100% behind us. I said that to the guys. I said, look, we had the club and Burnie speak to the players this week about the passion at the club, what we want to achieve in the future. Look, we're on that journey. It's fantastic. It's first and foremost to be in the final and to be the last 2. We want to take that next step, so we'll keep working, we'll keep recruiting until we achieve it.
You touched on it just there. I suppose you didn't win the final, but it's a step in the right direction, given you are in the final.
Oh, my word. Look, you look at us last year, 15 points, I think. 16 points we ended up in the individual. We've got 15 now, and we haven't even hit halfway mark. So it's a big tick, and to make the final as well of the Lucky Cup. I think that's, the guys can take some pride in that, and we'll try and go one step further next season.
Moving forward, I guess, with the Victory League, looking for a top 4 finish.
Oh, definitely. That's our goal. We have a tough month now of games that we play teams above us. We'll regroup now. We've got plans in place for Sunday, so that's our next game.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.